"You're nothing but a bum. You should just get divorced and leave this place." My mother-in-law spat at me, completely disregarding the fact that I have been shouldering my husband's massive debts, paying tens of thousands of dollars each month. My late father-in-law had always treated me kindly, and out of respect for him, I had silently continued to pay off those debts. "You're always glued to that PC or smartphone. Get a real job," she continued, her words dripping with disdain. Calling her a bum is being generous. "This woman hoards all our money," she accused, her animosity cutting deep. "My husband is foolish to disrespect me, the main breadwinner of this house. His betrayal, sanctioned by my late father-in-law, who entrusted me with his company, is unforgivable." "Fine, I'll leave," I declared abruptly, deciding to divorce and collect my things. I left my oblivious mother-in-law and husband to grapple with their debts, moving away with no intention to look back. As I packed, I knew their future held. "My name is Emily. I got married 9 years ago at 33, and we still don't have any children. I run a small printing company inherited from my late husband David and my father-in-law. 3 years ago, my father-in-law passed away, and before that, we lived with David's parents, assisting in their business. Originally, David had been groomed to take over the family business after university, and we rented a place nearby. When my father-in-law wanted David to succeed him due to old age, we moved in to support him. I quit my web design job to manage the printing company's operations. Currently, it's just David and me handling everything since we let go of the one employee my father-in-law had hired. Things were manageable when he was alive, but after his death, the family dynamics changed drastically. My mother-in-law constantly picks fights, blaming me for wandering around the house all day. She fails to see that I manage customer relations and data correction, which has significantly boosted sales. David struggles with computers, and they don't realize I'm the backbone of our operations. Their accusations have only intensified, especially since the arrival of Anna, a former employee and David's childhood friend. They were childhood friends, always in the same class from elementary to high school. After my father-in-law's funeral, Anna began frequenting our printing company. Having known Anna since childhood, she had a good rapport with my mother-in-law. I later learned that Anna was hired because my mother-in-law strongly recommended her to my father-in-law. While he was alive, he often criticized Anna for slacking off and producing careless, error-filled work. During the handover period, I witnessed firsthand how inept she was, struggling even with basic computer tasks, let alone accurate data entry. Critical documents like invoices had to be handwritten by my father-in-law before I could review them. Investigating her online activity, I found she spent most of her time on vulgar and dating websites. It was clear to me, and evidently to my father-in-law, that she wasn't suited for the job. Anna became my mother-in-law's confidant, but her lack of work ethic didn't impress my father-in-law, who valued hard work deeply. The real issue lies with David's change in attitude. While he used to work diligently alongside his father, he now echoes my mother-in-law's complaints. "You have it easy, just playing on the computer all day. It feels like I'm the only one taking this seriously," he accused me, influenced by both my mother-in-law and Anna. When my father-in-law was alive, such accusations never surfaced. Now, it's just the three of us, my mother-in-law, David, and I, living together. All I want is to preserve the printing company my father-in-law entrusted to us. Yet it's proving difficult and headaches abound. Our orders have increased thanks to my precise data corrections, boosting sales. However, our financial woes persist due to my mother-in-law's and David's reckless spending habits. My mother-in-law splurges on luxury goods without restraint, ignoring warnings. Since David took over as CEO after his father's death, he too spends lavishly despite our small operation. Customers mistakenly see him as the second-generation CEO, fueling his misconceptions. After work, he frequently indulges in drinking, and my mother-in-law joins him for dinners out, further straining our finances. David even took out a substantial bank loan for a new venture without consulting me, burdening us with monthly repayments we can't afford. When I pressed him for details, he evaded my questions, possibly to fund his lavish lifestyle. Inheriting the CEO title and company seems to have inflated his desires and misjudgments. As I watch my own family fritter away money while I manage an increasing workload, my mother-in-law mistakenly believes our business thrives with ample income and continues to spend excessively. It's a perilous spiral, worsened by David's undisclosed loan repayments, amounting to several $100,000 monthly. I handle the finances, so I'm the one who has to make ends meet, but their spending never ceases, forcing me to take drastic measures. I explained our dire financial situation and put both my mother-in-law and David on a strict allowance. It seemed like a reasonable step, but they were unconvinced and began acting unbelievably. Your company seems to be doing well. Are you hiding money for yourself? Anna, a former employee, stirred up suspicions. She suggested there might be cash or life insurance left by my late husband, and they took her word over mine. Whether they believed her or simply found her accusations convenient, Anna became a threat and a constant annoyance. My marriage with David has cooled significantly. We once talked about starting a family before and after I turned 30, but that dream now feels distant. While they dine out lavishly, I'm left managing the leftovers and feeling overwhelmed with frustration. Yet two reasons keep me enduring this ordeal. One is my hobby on social media. Posting about my daily struggles at home and work has surprisingly gained popularity, serving as a therapeutic outlet. The other, more significant reason is my promise to my late father-in-law. He entrusted me with this printing company, particularly its critical finances and client relations. His trust in me was profound, often apologizing for his wife and son's behavior, urging me not to tolerate their foolishness. I feel compelled to honor his legacy by safeguarding what he built. Despite their accusations, calling me lazy and money-hungry, I patiently explain our financial reality. What happened to David's savings? There should be something left, my mother-in-law demanded, oblivious to the fact that my father-in-law's savings were depleted long ago, thanks to their extravagant spending. David even took out a bank loan in the company's name without consulting me, further complicating our finances. Their ignorance and accusations against my late father-in-law's integrity disgust me. He was an honest man who never resorted to tax evasion or secret accounts, contrary to their baseless claims. As I pondered whether continuing to endure their money-driven antics was my way of honoring my father-in-law, a shocking scene unfolded one Friday night. A long-standing client urgently needed a sample print for a new product catalog over the weekend. Despite David being out drinking, I took it upon myself to deliver the sample directly to the client. On my way back, I froze at the sight ahead. Walking arm in arm were David and a woman. Beside them, my mother-in-law cozied up to them, oblivious to my presence. I couldn't believe my eyes. As they chatted carefreely, I distanced myself, stunned and betrayed. I recognized her instantly when I saw her profile. It was Anna, our former employee. My thoughts froze as I stood there, watching them chat happily and disappear to a high-end barbecue restaurant in the distance. I remained rooted to the spot in shock. I don't recall how I managed to get home afterward. The next thing I knew, I was sitting in front of my computer, replaying the scene in my mind. Seeing David and Anna together like that, it was clear their relationship wasn't typical. Despite our strained marriage, witnessing such betrayal ignited a deep anger within me. If David and Anna were involved romantically, it would explain everything, especially my mother-in-law's unexpected presence with them. It seemed my mother-in-law and Anna had been friends since long ago, but her nonchalant enjoyment of their closeness today was unsettling. Could it be that David's affair with Anna had her approval? I couldn't fathom such a betrayal, yet it would make sense of their behavior since my father-in-law's passing. I wanted to protect the printing company entrusted to me, but I felt lost. Saturday passed without David or my mother-in-law returning. It wasn't until Sunday afternoon that they finally showed up, claiming they had been at a downtown spa together. Together, you say? Wasn't Anna there too? I calmly questioned, hitting a nerve as their anger erupted. What's wrong with Anna? She's just concerned for Mom and me. David defended, his tone defensive. She knows you're trying to control my father's savings on your own. Their emotional outbursts confirmed my suspicions. They had been colluding with Anna against me. I'm divorcing a woman who hoards my father's savings, David declared sharply. If you're so keen on leaving, then go. Accepting his words, I calmly replied, understood. I will leave, and swiftly departed. My bags were packed the day before, ready to be delivered to my parents' house. I could return later for the rest. Leaving that place was all I wanted. David's final words pierced me as I bit my lip, fists clenched tight. A week later, I returned to complete the divorce proceedings and hand over my late father-in-law's company. David, my mother-in-law, and even Anna were all present. Sign it quickly, David demanded, thrusting the divorce papers at me before I could review them. My mother-in-law interjected sharply, "It's too late for apologies. You should be grateful David and I aren't suing you." Ignoring her jab, I checked the papers David had handed me and silently signed my name. As I looked up, I noticed all three of them smirking. "Give me all the company's books and documents," David ordered, eyeing the drawer of my desk. I retrieved the files and handed them over. David eagerly opened the bank books, flanked by my scrutinizing mother-in-law and Anna. Their smug expressions quickly soured. "What's this?" Anna exclaimed, noting the balance in the bank book. "This can't be right." My mother-in-law peered over David's shoulder, muttering, "Isn't this incorrect?" David turned to me accusingly, thrusting the bank book in my direction. "What does a balance of $30 mean?" I calmly explained, "It represents our total assets. While we generate around $22,000 monthly, our expenses are substantial. The lease fees for our machinery alone exceed $1 million monthly. We also have significant costs for electricity, loans on delivery trucks, and forklifts, not to mention the ongoing repayment of a bank loan taken after my father-in-law's passing, which exceeds $3,000 monthly." Their incredulous expressions didn't waver. "There's no way that's right," my mother-in-law retorted. "We print and deliver every day. How can we have no money?" I continued, "Despite our revenue, personal loans mismanaged by my mother-in-law and David require over $2,000 monthly, which I have been managing alone, including all living expenses." "I've explained this already," I reiterated calmly. "Without the burden of your repayments, I'll have over $2,000 monthly free, which will make things much easier." "Don't lie about us having no money when we work hard every day," David shouted emotionally, refusing to understand. "Yelling won't change the facts," I replied evenly. "Yes, there's revenue, but it's already been eaten up by your loans and your mother's. After repayments, we might save around $5,000. Realizing they wouldn't be able to afford anything during the repayment period was no longer my concern. They would learn the hard way. "When will these repayments end?" Anna asked pragmatically, cutting through the tension. "The bank loan has 3 more years, and David and his mother's personal loans have over 5, I replied bluntly, causing Anna to gasp in shock. "So we'll be in the red for the next 3 years?" Anna sighed disappointedly. "At this rate, most likely," I affirmed coldly, grateful that Anna seemed to be grasping the reality. "What about my husband's hidden account? He had one, right, Anna?" my mother-in-law interjected, trying to placate Anna, who had provided the information. "Yeah, there must be a secret account," Anna pressed on, her focus self-centered. "I've never heard of it or seen it while he was alive," I stated firmly. "Perhaps everyone should search for it after this." I couldn't fathom Anna's insistence on this hidden account, as if she were in some drama. Among the three who were gradually coming to terms with reality, David finally posed a practical question. "Wait, then how have you managed this financial issue so far?" he asked, finally getting to the crux of the matter. "Ah, yes," I began, explaining in detail. "I've been covering our living costs and bridging the gap with my personal income. I have a blog called Small Factory Struggle Diary with over 1 million followers. The substantial advertising revenue it generates is deposited into my personal account each month, requiring separate tax filings from the company's financial statements. I think you'll understand once you review the books later, but the company owes repayment obligations due to the supplementary costs from my personal lending. Please consult with a tax accountant or lawyer," I advised calmly. That's the main point I wanted to convey today. Regardless of the divorce settlement, I will become a creditor in the future. I used to support their lives because they were family, but that's no longer my concern. Of course, I expect to recover the money I lent, I stated firmly. "David, even as a CEO, you're no different from someone in dire financial straits," Anna remarked, grasping the situation quickly. "I can't be with you in this situation. Goodbye," Anna declared, turning to leave swiftly. David and his mother hurriedly followed, trying to convince her otherwise. "It's fine, we can secure additional financing from the bank if needed. Anna, you can trust my husband's company," my ex-mother-in-law reassured, desperately hoping to salvage the situation. Having said all I needed to, I decided it was time to leave. Months later, I heard that David and his mother had approached the bank for additional financing, only to be rejected. They'd reluctantly rescheduled to reduce monthly payments and extend the repayment period. This outcome didn't surprise me. It was exactly what I had anticipated. Pathetic indeed. A few weeks after our divorce proceedings, David and my ex-mother-in-law visited my parents' home unexpectedly. "Emily, I was foolish. The company can't function without you. Please come back," David pleaded, kneeling at the entrance. "I'm truly sorry, Emily. I've warned him as well. Can't you please help David?" my ex-mother-in-law added, also kneeling beside him. Facing their financial crisis, they seemed desperate, but it was too late. My parents stood firm, refusing to let them inside. The conversation remained at the doorway. "You said everything would be fine with enough sales. Why not seek advice from Anna instead of me?" I coldly dismissed them, watching them leave with their heads down. As they walked away, my parents warned them never to return. It was a surreal moment, but I felt a strange sense of satisfaction. Rescheduling loans wouldn't solve their problems. Most of David's clients had terminated their contracts and sought my services instead. Since I had resigned via email from my personal address, they naturally approached me for data modifications. David couldn't manage these clients, being computer illiterate. I secured an exclusive contract with a major printing company for personal design services, ensuring smooth printing arrangements. Rumors circulated that Anna completely ignored David, while my ex-mother-in-law visibly struggled, having lost weight and her ability to eat properly. They faced complaints and penalties from remaining clients. Their downfall was swift and self-inflicted. Adjusting to my new life, I decided to visit my father-in-law's grave. Standing there, I remembered his words. "Emily, I entrust my printing company to you. If you can't tolerate my foolish wife and son, feel free to sever ties with them. They're not bad people, but they are easily swayed by money." Perhaps he foresaw this outcome. I apologized sincerely for failing to protect his company, sharing updates from my lawyer. "Father-in-law, your company is heading towards bankruptcy under David's management. My lawyer suggests I buy it. What should I do?" Buying the company would cost tens of millions, but now it seemed a small price to pay. Offering it as a subsidiary to the major printing company I had an exclusive contract with seemed viable. If David changed his ways, perhaps I could consider hiring him as an employee. But I knew my father-in-law in heaven would shake his head and say something like, "Emily, you don't need to force yourself."
The crystal champagne flute trembles in my hand as I watch my sister glide down the aisle, her wedding dress worth more than my annual salary. My presence here is a mistake. I know at the moment I catch Mother's glacial stare from the front row. "Eden, that's me, the uninvited sister, the family disappointment who dared to show up at Brooke's perfect society wedding." I sink deeper into my seat at the back of the grand ballroom, praying the elaborate flower arrangements will shield me from more hostile glances. Can you believe she had the nerve to come? A stage whisper carries from 2 rows ahead. After what happened with the clinic, I grip Ryan's hand beside me. My husband squeezes back, his silent support the only thing keeping me from fleeing. Our 7-year-old daughter Lily fidgets in her Sunday best, oblivious to the tension crackling through the air like static before a storm. The string quartet transitions to the wedding march. Brooke reaches the altar where her fiancé Daniel waits, both of them picture perfect. Father beams as he gives her away, his pride radiating across the room. The same father who told me 10 years ago that I was dead to him. "If anyone objects to this union, speak now or forever hold your peace." The words barely leave the officiant's lips when Mother stands, her designer heels clicking against marble as she turns to face the crowd. Her gaze locks onto mine. "I apologize, everyone, but we have an uninvited guest who needs to leave." Her voice carries clearly through the hushed room. "Eden, you were explicitly told you are not welcome at family events. This is a private ceremony." 200 faces swivel toward me. Lily shrinks against my side. "Mommy, why is Grandma mad?" Brooke's perfectly painted lips curve into a smirk. "Security, please escort my former sister out. She's trying to ruin my special day as usual." "Former sister?" Lily's small voice cracks. "But Aunt Brooke—" "I'm not your aunt, dear." Brooke's words slice through the air. "Your mother lost the right to call herself family years ago when she betrayed us all." 2 security guards materialize beside our row. Ryan stands, positioning himself between them and me. "We're leaving. No need for force." "How dare you bring a child into this mess, Eden?" Mother's voice drips with venom. Trying to manipulate us with an innocent girl. You haven't changed at all. My cheeks burn as we shuffle past bewildered guests. Lily's hand trembles in mine. The whispers follow us like poison darts. Always was the troubled one. Such a shame what she did to her poor parents. That poor child, having her for a mother. At the ballroom doors, I pause and turn. Brooke stands triumphant at the altar, father and mother flanking her like proud sentries. The perfect family tableau, minus the black sheep daughter they erased. Congratulations, Brooke. My voice carries clearly across the silence. I hope your marriage is built on more honest foundations than the rest of your life. Her smile falters for just a moment. Good. Let her wonder what I know. In the lobby, Lily bursts into tears. Why don't they love us, Mommy? I gather her close, meeting Ryan's worried gaze over her head. He knows what this means. The careful peace I've maintained for years has shattered. They forced my hand by humiliating me in front of my daughter. Some people, sweetheart, aren't capable of real love. I stroke her hair, my resolve hardening with each sob. But that's about to change. 10 years I've stayed away, swallowing their lies. 10 years of watching Brooke build her perfect life on stolen dreams and buried secrets. But seeing my daughter cry, that's the final straw. They want to talk about betrayal? Fine. Time to show them what real betrayal looks like. I've got nothing left to lose and everything to prove. Game on, dear sister, game on. The drive home from Brooke's wedding feels endless. Lily's fallen asleep in the back seat, tear tracks still visible on her cheeks. Ryan's knuckles are white on the steering wheel, and the silence between us stretches like a rubber band about to snap. You shouldn't have gone, he finally says, voice low to avoid waking Lily. We talked about this. I trace the edge of my phone screen, where dozens of social media notifications flash about the incident. They made my daughter cry, Ryan. Our daughter. And whose fault is that? You knew exactly what would happen. He takes the exit toward our neighborhood, his jaw tight. You wanted it to happen. The accusation hits harder than I expect. Maybe because there's truth in it. Pull over. Eden. Pull over, now. He guides the car into an empty parking lot. I step out, needing air that isn't thick with unspoken words. The night air is cool against my flushed skin as I pace between faded parking lines. Ryan follows, leaving the car running for Lily. Talk to me, what's really going on? Did you see her face? The way she looked at me? My laugh sounds brittle. Perfect Brooke with her perfect lies. You know what she told everyone about why I was disowned? You never wanted to discuss it before. She told them I stole from the clinic, embezzled money meant for patient care. The words taste like acid. Meanwhile, she's working there now, right alongside father, probably. I stop myself, remembering Ryan doesn't know everything, not yet. He steps closer, concern etched in his features. Probably what? My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. I know what really happened 10 years ago. Meet me tomorrow, 2 p.m. Carson Street Coffee. Eden? Ryan's hand on my shoulder makes me jump. What aren't you telling me? I show him the text. His expression darkens. Could be a trap. Your family might not be my family. I turn back toward the car. Someone at the clinic knows something. Someone who was there when everything fell apart. And you're just going to meet this mysterious person? After what happened today? He catches my arm. Think about Lily. About us. I'm thinking about us. I pull away gently. That's why I need to do this. They humiliated our daughter, Ryan. Made her question everything about who she is, who I am. So this is about revenge? This is about truth. I watch Lily sleeping through the car window, peaceful despite everything. Brooke built her whole life on lies. The clinic, her marriage to Daniel, her reputation, all of it constructed on the ruins of what she took from me. Ryan runs a hand through his hair, a gesture I recognize from a decade of marriage. He's worried, but he's listening. What exactly are you planning? Nothing yet, but if someone's finally willing to talk, I meet his gaze steadily. I need to know if you're with me. Really with me, not just standing on the sidelines while I fight this battle alone. He's quiet for a long moment, studying me. You're different tonight. There's something in your eyes I haven't seen before. Maybe because I finally see things clearly. I step closer, taking his hands. Remember when we first met? You said I was carrying too many ghosts. You were right, but they weren't ghosts, Ryan. They were monsters wearing my family's faces, and I let them haunt me for too long. A car passes, its headlights sweeping across us. In that brief illumination, I see understanding dawn in Ryan's expression. He pulls me into a tight embrace. I'm with you, he whispers against my hair. But we do this smart. We do this right. No more improvised confrontations. Agreed. I breathe in his familiar scent, drawing strength from his solid presence. Tomorrow at the coffee shop, come with me? Watch from a distance. Make sure it's not a setup. Of course, he pulls back, cupping my face. But Eden, promise me something. Whatever we learn, whatever happens, we protect Lily first. Always. Always, I agree, even as part of me whispers that protection sometimes means fighting back. Sometimes means burning everything down to build something better from the ashes. In the car, Lily stirs slightly, murmuring in her sleep. Looking at her, I feel my resolve harden like steel. Brooke and my parents thought they could shame me into disappearing again. Instead, they've given me exactly what I needed, a reason to stop running and start fighting back. Tomorrow, I'll meet my mysterious messenger. Tomorrow, I'll start gathering the matches needed to set this whole facade ablaze. But tonight, I'll hold my daughter and remember why the truth matters more than any comfortable lie. Carson Street Coffee buzzes with afternoon regulars when I spot her. Sarah Chen, our family clinic's former accountant, hunched over a laptop in the corner. Ryan catches my eye from his position at the counter, a silent confirmation that he's watching. I slide into the seat across from Sarah. Her fingers tremble slightly as she closes her laptop. I wasn't sure you'd come. 10 years is a long time to stay quiet. I keep my voice neutral, though my pulse races. Why now? She glances around nervously. Your sister's wedding was all over social media. When I saw what they did to you, she pulls out a USB drive. There's something you need to see. The drive feels impossibly heavy in my palm. What's on it? Financial records. From before you left. Sarah leans forward, lowering her voice. Your father didn't just frame you for embezzlement, Eden. He actively covered up Brooke's mistakes. Massive ones. My coffee arrives. Ryan's subtle way of staying close. Sarah flinches at his approach. The patient death in 2013, she continues once he's gone. Remember? How could I forget? A terminal cancer patient died after receiving experimental treatment. The investigation cleared the clinic, but what about it? Brooke administered the wrong dosage. She wasn't qualified, hadn't even completed her medical training. Your father buried it, paid off the family. Sarah's words hit like physical blows. He used the money he accused you of stealing. The coffee cup rattles against the saucer as I set it down. You have proof. Everything's on that drive, including evidence that Brooke never finished medical school. The credentials she's using at the clinic, all falsified. My throat tightens. Why didn't you come forward back then? Your father threatened my family. My daughter was sick. I needed the insurance. Shame colors her face. But she's grown now, and I saw what happened at the wedding, the way they're still hurting you. My phone buzzes. A text from Brooke. Having coffee with anyone interesting? I look up sharply. Through the window, I catch a glimpse of Daniel's car pulling away. They're watching me, Sarah realizes, panic edging into her voice. I shouldn't have. It's okay. I stand, offering her my arm. Let my husband drive you home. Ryan appears instantly, reading the situation. As he escorts Sarah out, I text Brooke back. Just catching up with old friends. How's married life? Her response is immediate. Stay away from Sarah Chen. Some stories should stay buried. I pocket the USB drive, my mind racing. Another text arrives, from father this time. My office, 1 hour. Come alone or Sarah loses everything. The threat is clear, but something's different now. The trembling in my hands isn't fear, it's anticipation. At the clinic, father's secretary tries to stop me. I brush past her, pushing into his office where he and Brooke wait. That was quick, Brooke says, but her usual smugness wavers. Enough games. I face father across his desk. You want to threaten Sarah? Go ahead. But first, explain something. How many other patients did Brooke kill? The color drains from his face. Brooke steps forward. You don't know what you're talking about. 2013, terminal cancer patient, wrong dosage. I watch their reactions. Ring any bells? You've clearly lost your mind, father starts, but I cut him off. Funny thing about buried secrets. Someone always keeps receipts. I pull out my phone, playing the recording of my conversation with Sarah. Wonder what the medical board would think. Brooke lunges for my phone. I sidestep easily, watching her facade crack. You're bluffing. Try me. I meet father's gaze. You destroyed my life to protect her, framed me for theft, erased me from the family, all to cover up her mistakes. I did what was necessary. His voice is ice. Brooke had potential. You were always difficult. Difficult? I laugh. The sound sharp enough to make them both flinch. I was the only one telling the truth. And now I have proof. What do you want? Brooke demands. I move toward the door, pausing with my hand on the handle. Want? I want you both to know what's coming. Every lie, every cover-up, every patient you've put at risk. It all comes out. And this time? I smile, feeling decades of pain crystallize into purpose. This time, I'm not the one who'll disappear. Their protests follow me out, but I don't look back. In my pocket, the USB drive holds enough truth to burn their perfect world to ash. Let them try to stop me. I'm not that scared little girl anymore. I'm the one they should fear. The USB drive's contents spill across my laptop screen. Financial records, falsified credentials, patient records. Each document adds another brick to the wall of evidence against my family. But it's an email thread between mother and father that makes my hands shake. You need to see this. I turn the screen toward Ryan, who's been pacing our home office. He leans in, scanning the text. His jaw tightens. They knew about the other patients. 3 more deaths, all covered up. My voice sounds distant to my own ears. All blamed on equipment malfunctions or natural causes. The doorbell rings. Through the window, I glimpse Daniel's expensive car in our driveway. Ryan moves toward the door, but I catch his arm. Let me handle this. Daniel looks nothing like the confident man from Brooke's wedding. His tie is loose, dark circles under his eyes. We need to talk, Eden. I lead him to the kitchen, deliberately choosing not to offer him anything. He fidgets with his wedding ring. Brooke told me what you have. He glances toward my laptop. Whatever they're offering you. They? Who's offering me what? The medical board investigators. He runs a hand through disheveled hair. They approached me yesterday, asked about inconsistencies in Brooke's credentials. My pulse quickens, but I keep my expression neutral. I haven't spoken to any investigators. Don't lie to me. His voice cracks. I know what she did. What they all did. I've been reviewing the clinic's records since the wedding. And I can't. He swallows hard. I have evidence too. Things even you don't know about. But if this gets out, it won't just destroy Brooke and your parents. There are other people involved. Good people who are just following orders. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Your daughter's school just received an anonymous tip about possible abuse in your home. CPS has been notified. The room tilts slightly. Daniel notices my reaction. They're desperate, he says quietly. They'll do anything to keep this quiet. They're threatening my daughter. The words come out like ice shards. Let me help you. Daniel leans forward. I can get you money. Enough to disappear. Start fresh somewhere else. Just hand over the evidence. Ryan appears in the doorway, his presence steady. I think you should leave. You don't understand. Daniel stands. They won't stop. Mark's already called in favors with local authorities. They'll fabricate evidence against you, Eden. They'll take Lily. Get out. My voice doesn't shake. Tell my sister and my parents they just made their biggest mistake. After he leaves, Ryan holds me as I shake, not with fear, but with rage. We need to move fast, he says. If they're involving Lily, no. I pull away, my mind crystallizing around a new plan. We're not running. Call your sister at the newspaper. It's time everyone knew exactly who the Millers really are. Eden, they want to play dirty, fine. I grab my phone, dialing Sarah's number, but they forgot something important. What's that? I learned from the best. I meet his worried gaze. They taught me how to destroy someone's life. Now they get to see how well I paid attention. Sarah answers on the first ring. Eden, they're here. Police with a warrant. Upload everything. Now, every file, every record, every piece of evidence. Send it to the email I gave you. But, trust me. I hang up, turning to Ryan. Call the school, get Lily, then call every reporter your sister knows. In an hour, the Miller family clinic is going to become breaking news. This is it, then. Ryan studies my face. No turning back. I think of Lily, innocent and precious, now a target in their desperate game. Of Sarah, probably being arrested right now. Of every patient who died because of Brooke's lies and my parents' cover-ups. They chose this path. I start typing, preparing the email that will detonate my family's carefully constructed world. I'm just making sure they walk it all the way to the end. As I hit send, watching hundreds of damning documents wing their way to dozens of news outlets, I feel something shift inside me. The scared daughter seeking approval dies. In her place rises someone stronger, someone forged in betrayal and tempered by righteous fury. Let them come for me. I'm ready. The headlines explode across every local news outlet by morning. Miller Family Clinic under investigation. Multiple deaths linked to fraudulent doctor. Prominent family faces criminal charges. I watch the clinic's parking lot from my car, counting the reporters swarming like hungry sharks. Mother emerges first, perfectly composed until camera flashes blind her. She stumbles, mask slipping for just a moment. My phone hasn't stopped buzzing. Missed calls from unknown numbers, text messages ranging from threats to desperate pleas. I ignore them all, waiting. Finally, Brooke appears, Daniel trailing behind her. Even from this distance, I can see she's been crying. Good. A tap on my window makes me jump. Ryan stands outside, expression grim. I roll down the window. The medical board just arrived, he says, and Eden, Sarah's dead. The world stops. What? Car accident last night. They're calling it a suicide. My hands grip the steering wheel until my knuckles turn white. When? Right after the police left her house. Ryan's voice drops. Eden, there's more. The evidence she uploaded, most of it's corrupted. They got to the servers somehow. A bitter laugh escapes me. Of course they did. We should go home. This isn't safe. Mrs. Miller. A reporter spots me, and suddenly they're all running toward my car. I start the engine, but not before catching Brooke's expression as she realizes I'm here. For a moment, our eyes meet across the parking lot. She mouths something, not a threat or a plea, just two words. I'm sorry. The drive home is silent. Ryan keeps glancing at me, waiting for the breakdown that won't come. Sarah's death should devastate me, should make me question everything. Instead, it hardens something inside me. We find Mother sitting in our living room. How did you get in? Ryan demands, moving protectively in front of me. I raised her. Mother's voice is eerily calm. I still have her spare key from when she was young. Get out, I say, but she raises her hand, revealing a familiar USB drive. Looking for this? She sets it on the coffee table. Your father says hello, by the way. He's meeting with the board right now, explaining how his troubled daughter fabricated evidence to destroy her sister out of jealousy. Sarah's dead. Yes. She doesn't even flinch. Tragic. Depression is a terrible thing. You killed her. Prove it. She stands, smoothing her expensive skirt. Like you'll need to prove all your other accusations, now that the evidence is gone. Your father's lawyers are very good at their jobs. Ryan steps forward, but I catch his arm. Let her talk. We're willing to be generous, Eden. Mother's smile doesn't reach her eyes. Leave town. Take your family somewhere far away. We'll provide enough money to start fresh. Or stay and watch everything you love burn. She moves toward the door. Lily's such a sweet child. It would be awful if Child Protective Services found evidence of abuse, or if Ryan's newspaper suddenly discovered financial irregularities in his records. You're threatening a child? Ryan's voice shakes with rage. Your own granddaughter? I'm protecting my family. Mother pauses at the door. You have 24 hours to decide. Choose wisely. After she leaves, Ryan holds me as I shake, not with fear or grief, but with a cold fury that threatens to consume me. We can't let them win, he whispers. We won't. I pull away, moving to my laptop. Sarah may be gone, but she wasn't the only one with evidence. Eden. They killed her, Ryan. They'll destroy us if we run. My fingers fly across the keyboard, accessing encrypted files I've been gathering for weeks. But they forgot something important about cornered animals. What's that? I turn the screen toward him, showing dozens of audio recordings, surveillance photos, and backed-up documents, a parallel investigation I've been running alongside Sarah's. They fight hardest when they have nothing left to lose. I start composing emails to every major news outlet in the country. Mother wants to play games with my daughter's safety. Fine. Let's see how she likes it when the whole world knows exactly what kind of monster she really is. This could backfire spectacularly, Ryan warns. Probably. I hit send, watching the emails disappear into cyberspace. But I'm done playing by their rules. The first national news alert pings on my phone minutes later. The war has begun, and this time, I'm not fighting to expose the truth. I'm fighting to destroy them completely. The police arrive at 3 a.m. I watch from our bedroom window as they lead Ryan away in handcuffs, their accusations echoing in the quiet street. Fraud, embezzlement, conspiracy. All fabricated, all perfectly crafted to destroy him. Lily sleeps through it, thank God. I stand in her doorway afterward, watching her peaceful breathing, knowing I caused this. My phone vibrates. Father's number. Satisfied. His voice carries decades of practiced authority. This is just the beginning, Eden. Walk away now, or tomorrow it's your daughter's school calling with concerns about her home life. I end the call without speaking. My hands shake as I pack Lily's overnight bag. Clothes, her favorite stuffed animal, the photo album she loves. Ryan's sister Claire arrives within the hour. It's just for a few days, I tell Lily when she wakes, confused and frightened, like a vacation with Aunt Claire. But what about Daddy? What about you? I hold her tight, breathing in her familiar scent. We'll fix everything, I promise. After they leave, the house feels like a tomb. I pour myself a drink, but before I can take a sip, someone pounds on the front door. Brooke stands on my porch, mascara streaked down her face. They're going to kill you. What? She pushes past me, frantically checking windows and doors. I heard them talking. Father hired someone. They're making it look like a break-in gone wrong. Why are you telling me this? Because Sarah was my friend too. Her voice cracks. And I can't have another death on my conscience. I study my sister, really look at her for the first time in years. The perfect facade has crumbled, revealing someone as broken as I am. Daniel left me, she continues. The medical board revoked my license. Everything's falling apart and they don't even care. They're just worried about protecting themselves. Like they always have been. She grabs my arm. You need to run. Now. Take what you can and... Headlights sweep across the windows. Brooke freezes. They're here. Get out the back, I tell her, already moving toward my laptop. I need 2 minutes. Eden, go. As she slips away, I quickly upload everything I have to multiple secure servers. The front door splinters under heavy boots just as I hit send. 2 men enter, faces obscured. Professional, clinical. I recognize the look, the same cold efficiency father always praised in his business dealings. Mrs. Collins. The taller one approaches slowly. This can be easy or hard, your choice. I back away, buying seconds as the files upload. My father sent his regards. The Millers send their condolences about your tragic accident. A noise from the kitchen makes them turn. Brooke stands there, phone raised. I'm live streaming, everything. The men hesitate. In that moment, I lunge for the front door, but the shorter one catches me. Pain explodes across my face as he strikes me. Through blurred vision, I see Brooke tackle him. Run! I stumble into the street, blood in my mouth, ears ringing. Behind me, glass shatters. A scream, Brooke's or mine, I'm not sure. Neighbors' lights flick on. A car starts somewhere. The men emerge from my house, walking unhurried to their vehicle, professional to the end. I find Brooke unconscious in my kitchen, her phone crushed nearby, but she's breathing, and as sirens wail in the distance, she stirs. Did you get it? She mumbles. The evidence? Yes. I help her sit up, noting the bruises already forming. Why did you come back? Because I remember. She touches her split lip gingerly. Before they turned us against each other. I remember when you were my big sister and I miss that person. The sirens grow closer. Soon there will be questions, statements, more lies from our parents. Ryan's still in jail. Lily's away. Everything I've built lies in ruins around me. But Brooke's words echo in my head. Big sister. Something shifts inside me. Not forgiveness, not yet, but understanding. We were both victims of our parents' manipulation, turned against each other for their benefit. We have to end this, I say, as red and blue lights paint my kitchen walls. Not just expose them, destroy them completely. Brooke meets my gaze, and for the first time in decades, I see my sister instead of my enemy. Together, I take her hand, feeling the weight of all our shared scars and separate wounds. Together. The police arrive to find us like that, bloodied but unbowed, finally united against the real monsters in our story. Let our parents think they've won. Their perfect family fantasy is about to become their worst nightmare. The Miller Family Clinic's annual charity gala becomes our battlefield. Brooke and I move through the crowd separately, watching our parents work the room like nothing's wrong, like they didn't try to have me killed last week. Mrs. Collins, a board member, catches my arm. Surprised to see you here, given the circumstances. I smile, channeling Mother's perfect social mask. I wouldn't miss it. Across the room, Father takes the podium. Welcome, everyone. Tonight we celebrate 30 years of serving our community. Brooke signals from near the AV booth. Everything's ready. I check my phone. Ryan's lawyer confirms the charges are dropped, the real evidence of financial manipulation traced back to Father's accounts. And now, Father continues, I'd like to share a video highlighting our clinic's achievements. The lights dim, but instead of the planned presentation, security footage fills the screen. Father in his office, counting cash, Mother threatening Sarah, patient records being altered, each clip dated, documented, damning. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Father fumbles with the microphone, but his voice is drowned out by the audio of him ordering the hit on me. Turn it off, Mother shrieks, but Brooke holds the door to the AV booth closed. Why? I step forward, my voice carrying across the stunned silence. Isn't this what we're celebrating? 30 years of fraud, corruption, and murder. Security, Father bellows, but the officers I hired stand firm. They work for me tonight. I move closer to the podium. Just like the private investigators who've been watching you, the forensic accountants tracking your bribes, the lawyers building cases for every family you've destroyed. Mother lunges for me, her carefully maintained composure shattering. You ungrateful... Careful, Mother. Brooke emerges from the crowd. The press is recording. Indeed, cameras flash as reporters, invited anonymously, capture every moment. You planned this together? Father's face contorts with rage. My own daughters. Your daughters, I laugh, the sound sharp as broken glass. You tried to kill me last week. You framed my husband. You threatened my child. Everything I did was to protect this family. He grabs my arm, fingers digging in painfully. Let her go. Brooke's voice carries steel. Or I tell them about Jason. Father freezes. What? The patient from 2011. Brooke meets his gaze steadily. The one whose death you blamed on equipment failure. Except it wasn't the equipment, was it? It was you, trying to cover up a mistake that would have cost you everything. You knew, Mother whispers. I found the real records. Brooke's hands shake slightly. The ones you kept to blackmail the manufacturer. That's when I realized you never protected me because you loved me. You did it because you needed someone under your control. Police officers enter the ballroom, real ones this time. Father sees them and shoves me aside, making a break for the exit. He doesn't make it 3 steps before Daniel, my unexpected ally, trips him. Father sprawls across the marble floor as handcuffs click into place. Mark Miller. The detective reads his rights while Mother screams and fights her own arrest. You're charged with conspiracy to commit murder, fraud. The list continues, but I'm not listening. I'm watching my parents' perfect world crumble, their masks finally shattered beyond repair. Brooke touches my arm. You okay? No. I watch Mother being led away, still shrieking about ungrateful children. But I will be. Eden, Father calls out as they reach the door. You'll regret this. Everything we built was built on lies. I meet his eyes one last time. Goodbye, Father. Later, as reporters swarm and police gather evidence, Brooke and I sit in the empty ballroom. What happens now? She asks. Ryan comes home. The clinic gets new management. Our parents face justice. I study my sister's profile, seeing both the girl she was and the woman she's becoming. And we learn who we are without their shadows over us. Together. I take her hand, feeling decades of manipulation and rivalry dissolve. But first, I need to go home to my daughter. We walk out of the clinic for the last time, leaving behind the wreckage of our parents' empire. Their perfect family fantasy lies in ruins, but something real and honest might grow from the ashes. Sometimes revenge isn't about destroying everything. Sometimes it's about clearing the ground so truth can finally take root. The courtroom empties slowly after the verdict. 25 years for father, 18 for mother. Justice served in cold, precise numbers. I remain seated watching them being led away, neither looking back at the daughters they destroyed and rebuilt. Brooke touches my shoulder. Ready? Almost. I gather my things, fingers brushing the locket Mother always wore. Now evidence of her crimes, the hidden compartment containing proof of bribes and threats. Outside, reporters wait with hungry cameras. Ryan shields Lily from their questions while Daniel handles the press statement. My daughter's small hand finds mine, anchoring me to what matters most. Aunt Brooke says we're moving to the clinic house, Lily says as we walk to the car. The big one with the garden? Yes. I exchange glances with my sister. The irony doesn't escape us. The family estate, purchased with tainted money, now transformed into a recovery center for victims of medical malpractice. But first, there's somewhere we need to go. We drive to Sarah's grave, where fresh flowers already rest against the headstone. A note from her daughter reads, "Justice for Mom." I keep thinking, Brooke says quietly, about all the moments we could have chosen differently, all the times we could have helped each other instead of becoming their weapons. I finish. She nods. Lily places her own flower, a dandelion picked from a crack in the sidewalk. Simple, pure, everything our childhood wasn't. Back home, I find Ryan in our study, reviewing patient files from the clinic. The board approved the restructuring, he says. We can start accepting new cases next month. And the trust fund? set up for the victims' families. He pulls me close. You did it, Eden. You broke the cycle. But victory tastes different than I imagined. In my desk drawer, unopened, sits a letter from Mother, delivered by her lawyer after sentencing. Beside it, Father's signet ring, returned by the evidence clerk. What troubles you? Ryan asks, noticing my hesitation. I thought revenge would feel like winning. I sink into a chair. Instead, it feels like carrying their ghosts. A noise from the hallway draws our attention. Brooke stands there, Daniel behind her, both looking uncertain. The contractor found something in Father's office wall, Daniel says. Hidden compartment. You should see this. The manila envelope he hands me contains photographs, dozens of them. Me and Brooke as children, caught in rare moments of sisterly affection, playing in the garden, sharing secrets, laughing. He kept them, Brooke whispers. All this time he kept proof that we were once real, I finish, before they made us into their perfect lies. The last photo shows us at my 10th birthday, before everything changed, before competition and manipulation poisoned our bond. Two sisters, arms linked, facing the world together. Eden, Lily calls from downstairs. Aunt Brooke, the ice cream's melting. We share a look, my sister and I, understanding passing between us without words. We can't reclaim those innocent girls in the photographs, but maybe we can honor them by protecting the next generation from similar scars. Coming, sweetheart, I call back, tucking the photos away. Not hidden this time, but preserved. A reminder of what was lost and what might still be saved. In the kitchen, Lily orchestrates an elaborate ice cream sundae assembly line, directing Daniel with the serious authority of a 7-year-old dessert expert. Ryan documents the chaos on his phone, while Brooke, accidentally on purpose, gets chocolate sauce on her designer blouse. This is my victory, I realize. Not the courtroom triumph or the public vindication, but this, a family built on choice rather than obligation. Love freely given instead of weaponized. Mother's unopened letter can wait. Father's ring will gather dust. Their power over us died not with exposure or imprisonment, but in this moment, watching my daughter teach my sister how to make the perfect sundae, everyone laughing as whipped cream goes everywhere. Mom, Lily waves me over. You're missing everything. I join them, accepting the sticky spoon my daughter offers. The past will always echo, but its power fades with each genuine smile, each chosen connection, each moment we decide to be more than our scars. Sometimes the sweetest revenge is simply living well, surrounded by the love our parents never understood how to give.
The day I caught my sister consoling my husband about my barrenness was the day my world shattered into a million razor-sharp pieces. I stood frozen in our hallway, my hands still gripping the shopping bags I'd brought home early from my grocery run, listening to their voices drift from our kitchen. My name is Grace, and until that moment, I thought I had a perfect life. A loving husband of 5 years, a close relationship with my younger sister, and a beautiful home in the suburbs of Boston. The only cloud in our sky was our struggle to conceive, but Gerald and I were working through it together. Or so I thought. It's not your fault, Violet's voice cooed. You've done everything you could. Grace is the one who can't give you what you want. The shopping bags slipped from my fingers, but I caught them before they hit the floor. My heart hammered against my ribs as I inched closer to the kitchen doorway. Gerald's voice cracked. I want a family so badly, Vi. Every time I see a father with his kids at the park, it kills me inside. I know, sweetie. I know. The tenderness in my sister's voice made me sick. Have you considered other options? What do you mean? Well, Violet paused. The doctors confirmed it's Grace's problem, right? Maybe it's time to think about moving on. Finding someone who can give you the family you deserve. The silence that followed felt like an eternity. I waited for Gerald to defend me, to shut down this conversation, to tell my sister she was out of line. Instead, I heard him sigh. I can't do that to Grace, but she's doing it to you. Violet's voice rose with fake concern. She's stealing your chance at happiness, at having children. Every day you stay with her is another day you're losing. I backed away from the doorway, my vision blurring. The shopping bags finally dropped, sending oranges rolling across the hardwood floor. The conversation in the kitchen stopped abruptly. "Grace," Gerald called out. "Is that you?" I couldn't face them. Not yet. I turned and ran out the front door, ignoring their calls behind me. I drove to the only place I could think of, Irene's house. My best friend took one look at my face and pulled me inside. "What happened?" I collapsed onto her couch, the words spilling out between sobs. "They're plotting against me, Irene. My own sister, my husband." "Slow down." Irene sat beside me, holding my hands. "Tell me everything." So I did. I told her about the fertility treatments, about how each negative pregnancy test felt like a knife in my heart, about how Gerald had grown distant over the past few months, and how Violet had been spending more time at our house, always there to support us through our struggles. "Something's not right," Irene said after I finished. "Have you seen these medical reports yourself? The ones saying you're the problem?" I shook my head. "Gerald always handles the medical stuff. He says it stresses me out too much. Call your doctor's office." "Now." Irene handed me her phone. "Request copies of everything." My hands shook as I dialed the number. 10 minutes later, I hung up, my face pale. "What is it?" Irene asked. They said they never ran those tests on me. The ones Gerald showed me, they don't exist in their records." Irene's expression hardened. "Grace, I think you need to do some digging. This doesn't add up." Later that evening, I forced myself to return home. Gerald was waiting in the living room, pacing. "Where have you been?" I was worried sick. He rushed to hug me, but I stepped back. "I needed some air," I said, watching his face carefully. "After dropping those groceries." He relaxed slightly. "How much did you hear?" "Enough." I met his eyes. "Where's Violet?" "She left." He ran a hand through his hair. "Look, Grace, she was just trying to help." "Help who, Gerald?" My voice was eerily calm. "You? Or herself?" Before he could answer, his phone buzzed. I caught a glimpse of the screen, Violet's name, with a heart emoji next to it. Gerald quickly turned the phone face down. "I'm tired," I said, heading toward the stairs. "I'm going to bed." That night I lay awake, staring at the ceiling while Gerald slept beside me. Through our bedroom window, I watched his car pull out of our driveway at 2 a.m. 20 minutes later, I drove past Violet's apartment building. Gerald's car was parked outside. Sometimes, the most painful truths come in the dead of night, when the world is quiet enough to hear your heart breaking. But as I drove home alone, something else stirred inside me, something harder and colder than heartbreak. Something that whispered of justice. The next morning, I called in sick to work and waited for Gerald to leave. As soon as his car disappeared around the corner, I began my search. Our home office held 5 years of memories and secrets. "Come on," I muttered, rifling through Gerald's desk drawers. "Where are those medical reports?" The bottom drawer was locked. I remembered the spare key Gerald kept taped under his desk, a habit from his forgetful college days. My hands trembled as I retrieved it. Inside, I found a manila folder labeled Fertility Clinic. The documents looked official at first glance, but something felt off. I snapped photos and texted them to Irene. My phone rang almost immediately. "Grace, look at the letterhead," Irene said without greeting. "The clinic's address is wrong." I just checked their website. "What?" "And the doctor's signature. Dr. Harrison retired 2 years ago." "These are fake." The room spun. I gripped the edge of the desk to steady myself. How would Gerald even? "Wait," Irene cut in. "Doesn't Violet work at a printing company?" The pieces clicked into place. I remembered Violet bragging about her graphic design skills, about how she could replicate any document perfectly. At the time, I thought she was just proud of her work. My phone buzzed with another call. "Gerald." I declined it and texted, "Working through lunch. Talk later." I dug deeper into the drawer and found a small notebook. Inside were dates, times, and locations, all meetings between Gerald and Violet going back months. Some entries had little hearts drawn next to them. Irene, I choked out. I need you to come over. Now. She arrived 15 minutes later with coffee and determination. We're getting to the bottom of this today. We spent the next hour documenting everything. The fake medical reports. The secret meetings. The suspicious bank transfers to Violet's account labeled consulting fees. Look at this, Irene pointed to a receipt. Gerald had his own fertility tests done at a different clinic. 3 months ago. I called the clinic, putting on my best professional voice. Hi, this is Dr. Walker's office. We need to verify some test results for Gerald. There seems to be a discrepancy in our records. The receptionist was helpful, too helpful. Oh yes, poor Mr. Gerald. Such a difficult diagnosis. Complete azoospermia. He'll never be able to father children naturally. Did he not follow up with a genetic counselor as recommended? My hand covered my mouth to stifle a gasp. Irene grabbed the phone. Thank you, that's all we needed. She hung up and pulled me into a hug. Oh, Grace. It was never me, I whispered. He's the one who can't, and they made me think. A key turned in the front door. Gerald was home early. Quick, I hissed, shoving everything back into the drawer. We barely made it to the kitchen when Gerald walked in. He stopped short at the sight of Irene. What's going on? His eyes darted between us. Girls' lunch, Irene said smoothly. Grace needed company since you've been so busy lately. Gerald's phone chimed. He checked it, and I caught that familiar flash of guilt in his eyes. I need to handle something at work, he said. Don't wait up for dinner. After he left, Irene grabbed my shoulders. You need a lawyer. Now. I know someone, I said quietly. Jeremy from college. He specializes in family law. Jeremy agreed to meet us that afternoon. In his downtown office, I laid out everything we'd found. This is substantial, Jeremy said, reviewing the evidence. The forged medical documents alone are criminal. But Grace, there's something else you should know. He pulled up a legal document on his computer. Your husband had a trust fund that would only activate when he had his first child. Significant money, we're talking millions. So that's why. The pieces kept falling into place. They needed you to think you were the problem, Irene said. So you'd step aside voluntarily. Jeremy leaned forward. Grace, you have options. We can file for divorce immediately, expose everything. No, I said, an idea forming. Not yet. I need you to help me with something else first. What do you have in mind? I took a deep breath. Remember those eggs I froze 3 years ago, before my cancer scare? I want to know if they're still viable. Jeremy's eyes widened. Grace. And I want to know my legal rights regarding Gerald's stored sperm samples from our IVF attempts. Irene grabbed my hand. Are you thinking what I think you're thinking? I nodded slowly. They wanted to take everything from me. My marriage, my chance at motherhood, my dignity. But they made one mistake. What's that? Jeremy asked. They underestimated how far I'd go to get justice. I straightened in my chair. So, Jeremy, can you help me? He smiled grimly. Let's talk strategy. Your eggs are perfectly viable, Dr. Chen confirmed, reviewing my medical records. And since you and Gerald signed joint ownership forms for all fertility treatments, you have equal rights to the stored genetic material. I sat in her office a week later, my hands clasped tightly in my lap. And the chances of success? With your age and health, very good. But Grace, she leaned forward. Are you sure about this? Having a child is a lifetime commitment, not a revenge plot? I finished. Trust me, Dr. Chen, I've wanted to be a mother my entire life. They tried to steal that from me. She nodded slowly. We'll need to do some preliminary tests first. As I left the clinic, my phone buzzed. Gerald's message read, working late again. Don't wait up. I typed back a simple okay and called Jeremy. Everything's set, he said. I've documented all the legal permissions. They can't stop you, even if they find out. They won't, I replied. Not until it's too late. That evening, Irene came over with takeout and wine. We sat on my back porch, watching the sunset. I saw Violet today, Irene said carefully. At the mall. She was shopping for wedding dresses. The wine glass froze halfway to my lips. Already? Apparently, they're planning a spring wedding. 6 months from now. I set down my glass. Perfect timing. Grace, Irene touched my arm. Are you absolutely sure about this? Having a baby, it's not something you can undo. I had my first IVF consultation this morning, I said. Dr. Chen thinks we could start the process next week. We? You mean? I've asked her to be discreet. As far as anyone knows, I'm just a single woman using a sperm donor. I managed a small smile. Technically, that's not even a lie. Irene's phone chimed. She checked it and her face darkened. You need to see this. It was a social media post from Violet, a photo of her hand wearing an enormous engagement ring, captioned, "Said yes to forever with my soulmate." Sometimes love takes unexpected paths to find its true destination. Unexpected paths? I laughed bitterly. Is that what she's calling it? There's more, Irene scrolled down. She's been telling people you abandoned Gerald because you couldn't handle the fertility issues. My hands shook as I reached for the wine bottle. Of course she has. The next morning, I met with Jeremy again. His office felt like a war room, with documents spread across his desk. I've set up everything, he said. Separate bank accounts, documentation of their affair, proof of the forged medical records. When the time comes, they won't know what hit them. And the fertility clinic? All paperwork is in order. They can't legally inform Gerald about any procedures. I pulled out my phone, showing him the engagement announcement. They're getting married in 6 months. Jeremy's eyebrows rose. That's ambitious. It's perfect, I said. By then, I'll be ready. Grace, Jeremy set down his pen. As your lawyer and friend, I need to ask, what's your endgame here? I met his eyes. Justice. Truth. And the family they tried to convince me I couldn't have. Later that day, I visited the fertility clinic for my first hormone injection. As the nurse prepared the shot, I thought about all the times I'd done this before, with Gerald holding my hand, both of us full of hope. Now I sat alone, but somehow feeling stronger. All done, the nurse said cheerfully. Remember, no strenuous activity for the next few days. That night, Gerald came home late again. I pretended to be asleep as he crept into bed, smelling of Violet's signature perfume. My phone lit up with a text from Dr. Chen, first follicle scan scheduled for Thursday. Looking good so far. I turned away from Gerald's sleeping form and typed back, I'll be there. The next few weeks passed in a blur of doctor's appointments and hormone injections. I told Gerald I was taking yoga classes, joining a book club, anything to explain my absences. He barely noticed, too wrapped up in his secret romance with my sister. Your body is responding perfectly, Dr. Chen said during one checkup. The egg retrieval should be next week. And then? She smiled. Then we fertilize them with the stored samples and wait. Are you ready for the possibility of multiple births? With your numbers, we might need to implant several embryos. I thought about Gerald and Violet, planning their perfect life together, thinking they'd won. I'm ready for anything, I said. Whatever it takes. Dr. Chen made some notes in my chart. In that case, let's schedule the retrieval for Monday. As I left the clinic, I touched my stomach gently. Soon, I thought. Soon they'll learn that karma doesn't just come around. Sometimes it multiplies. Triplets, Dr. Chen announced, pointing at the ultrasound screen. All 3 embryos took. See these 3 strong heartbeats? I lay on the examination table, tears streaming down my face as I watched the tiny flutters on the monitor. After all the deception, all the pain, here was my miracle, times 3. I'll give you a moment, Dr. Chen said softly, stepping out of the room. I pulled out my phone and texted Irene, 3. I'm having 3 babies. Her response was immediate. OMG. On my way with ice cream. By the time I got home, Gerald had left another note. Weekend business trip with the partners. Back Sunday. I knew he was really at a romantic getaway with Violet. They'd gotten bolder lately, not even trying to hide their meetings anymore. Irene arrived with 3 pints of ice cream. 1 for each baby. I'm going to get so fat, I laughed, already showing at 12 weeks. You're going to get caught if you stay here, she said, suddenly serious. You can't hide 3 babies forever. Already handled. I patted the stack of papers on my coffee table. Jeremy found me a house in Cambridge. I move next week. What about Gerald? I left divorce papers on his desk this morning. Cited irreconcilable differences. I spooned ice cream into my mouth. He'll be too relieved to question it. The divorce went through quickly. Gerald, eager to start his new life with Violet, agreed to all my terms. He never noticed the careful wording Jeremy had included about genetic material rights. For months later, I waddled through my new home, setting up the nursery with Irene's help. 3 cribs, she marveled, assembling the last one. Are you sure you can handle this alone? I'm not alone, I smiled. I have you, don't I? My phone buzzed. A text from Jeremy. Wedding date set. May 15th at the Grand Hotel. Perfect timing, I muttered. I'll be ready. The babies arrived 2 weeks early on a stormy April night. 3 perfect little girls, Lily, Rose, and Iris. As I held them for the first time, all thoughts of revenge momentarily faded. They were mine, wholly and completely mine. They look just like him, Irene whispered, cradling Lily. They do, I agreed. That's rather the point. The next few weeks passed in a blur of midnight feedings and diaper changes. The girls were surprisingly good babies, taking turns being fussy as if they'd coordinated their schedules. One morning, as I was feeding Rose, my phone lit up with a wedding invitation, sent to my old email address. They were inviting me, probably to prove there were no hard feelings. Your mommy's going to that wedding, I told Rose, who blinked up at me with Gerald's eyes. And you 3 are going to help her tell the truth. At 6 weeks old, the girls had their first photo shoot. Professional photos for documentation, Jeremy had insisted. Legal proof. These are perfect, Jeremy said, reviewing the photos in his office. The resemblance is undeniable. Have you seen the latest about their wedding? He pulled up Violet's social media. She'd been posting about fertility treatments, setting up her story about finally giving Gerald the family he deserved. She's telling everyone she's pregnant, Jeremy said. Due in December. I laughed. Well, won't that be interesting to explain? That evening, as I rocked Iris to sleep, I got another text from Gerald, the first since our divorce. Violet told me about the wedding invitation. I hope you'll come. We'd like to make peace. I showed the message to Irene, who was burping Lily. Make peace, she scoffed. More like show off their perfect life. Little do they know, I smiled, watching my daughters sleep. Little do they know. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of preparation. Jeremy helped me gather all the documentation, DNA tests, fertility clinic records, proof of Gerald's condition, evidence of their affair, and the forged medical records. Are you ready for this? He asked, organizing the files. Once you do this, there's no going back. I looked at my girls, all 3 napping in their swings. They tried to convince me I couldn't be a mother, that I was broken. They need to face what they did. And the fallout? Sometimes, I said, touching Lily's tiny hand as she slept, the truth hurts. But lies hurt more. The wedding was 2 weeks away. I had everything prepared, the documents, the photos, the DNA tests. But most importantly, I had 3 beautiful baby girls who were about to turn their father's wedding into an unveiling of truth. Your daddy and aunt thought they could fool everyone, I whispered to my sleeping daughters. But you 3 are living proof of their lies. And soon, everyone will know. Violet's planning to announce her pregnancy during the reception toasts, Irene reported, scrolling through her phone. She'd maintained a friendly social media relationship with my sister, becoming our inside source. She's even wearing a loose dress to hint at a baby bump. I adjusted Rose's tiny bow while Lily and Iris napped in their carriers. How considerate of her to set the perfect stage. Grace, Irene set down her phone, walk me through the plan one more time. The ceremony starts at 2, I said, checking my own timeline. They'll do photos after, then the reception begins at 5. Violet plans to make her announcement during the toasts at 6. And you'll arrive. At 5:45. Jeremy will already be there as a guest. He's bringing all the documentation. The girl's nanny will wait with them in the hotel lobby until I text her. My phone buzzed. A message from Jeremy. DNA test results certified by the lab. Ironclad proof of paternity. The week before the wedding crawled by. I spent it rehearsing my speech, preparing the girls' outfits, and making sure every detail was perfect. The night before, I could barely sleep. "Mommy's going to need you three to be on your best behavior tomorrow," I told my daughters as I fed them their morning bottles. "It's going to be a big day." Irene arrived early to help me get ready. She zipped me into a sleek navy dress that showed off my post-baby body. All those midnight feeding sessions had melted the pregnancy weight faster than I'd expected. "You look amazing," she said, adjusting my hair. They won't know what hit them. The nanny, Sarah, arrived at noon. We'd hired her specifically for this day after thorough background checks and several trial runs with the girls. Remember, I told her, wait in the lobby with the girls until I text. If anyone asks, you're watching them for a hotel guest. Got it, Sarah nodded, already familiar with our plan. Don't worry, they'll be perfect. My phone lit up with messages throughout the afternoon. Jeremy, in position. Half the town is here. Irene, ceremony just ended. Violet looks smug as hell. Jeremy, reception starting. You ready? I checked my reflection one last time. Ready. The Grand Hotel loomed before me, its elegant facade masking the drama about to unfold inside. I texted Sarah, get the girls ready. 20 minutes. The reception was in full swing when I walked in. Heads turned as I passed, whispers following in my wake. I spotted Gerald and Violet at the head table, lost in their own world. Jeremy appeared at my elbow, manila envelope in hand. Everything's set. Violet's father is about to start the toasts. I positioned myself near the back, watching as various family members stood to congratulate the happy couple. Finally, Violet rose, champagne glass in hand. Before anyone else speaks, she beamed, one hand resting on her stomach. Gerald and I have an announcement. I pulled out my phone and texted Sarah. Now, the ballroom doors opened. Sarah entered with the triple stroller, my three beautiful girls dressed in matching white dresses. The room fell silent. I have an announcement too, I said, my voice carrying across the stunned crowd. Gerald, Violet, meet your daughters. Well, Gerald's daughters, to be precise. Gerald's face went pale. Violet's champagne glass slipped from her hand, shattering on the floor. That's impossible, Gerald stammered. I can't. Can't father children? I walked forward, Jeremy beside me with the documents. Funny how you never told Violet about that diagnosis. About your genetic condition. About how you let her blame me instead. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Violet's mother stood up, staring at the babies. They look just like Gerald. Because they are his, I said, taking the envelope from Jeremy. DNA tests prove it. Remember all those fertility treatments we did, Gerald? All those samples you provided? Turns out they worked after all. You had no right. Violet shrieked, her carefully constructed facade cracking. Actually, I had every right. I handed the legal documents to Gerald's father, a retired judge. Check the paperwork yourself. Everything was completely legal. Guests crowded around the stroller, exclaiming over the girl's resemblance to Gerald. His mother reached in to touch Lily's cheek, tears in her eyes. But I'm pregnant, Violet protested weakly. Are you? I raised an eyebrow. Like you were infertile? Like those medical records you forged? Should we wait 9 months to see if that's another lie? Gerald slumped in his chair, the truth finally hitting him. Triplets, he whispered. Yes, I smiled, lifting Rose from the stroller. Would you like to meet your daughters? Or should I say, your only children? Because we both know you'll never have any others. The room erupted in chaos. Violet's makeup streaked down her face as she ran from the room. Gerald's parents were demanding explanations. And in the middle of it all, my 3 perfect baby girls began to cry in perfect harmony, their wails echoing through the destroyed wedding reception like a symphony of justice. How could you do this to me? Violet emerged from the bathroom, her wedding dress wrinkled, mascara streaking her cheeks. Your own sister. How could I? I bounced Iris gently as she fussed. How could you forge medical documents to convince your sister she was barren? How could you steal her husband while pretending to support her? Gerald's mother cradled Lily, tears streaming down her face. "They're so beautiful, Grace. Why didn't you tell us? Would you have believed me?" I asked. Or would you have believed their lies, like everyone else did? Gerald hadn't moved from his chair, staring at Rose in his father's arms. "I don't understand," he mumbled. "The doctors said I couldn't." "That's right," Jeremy stepped forward, spreading medical records on the table. "You were diagnosed with complete azoospermia 3 months before you left Grace. But instead of telling her the truth, you let your girlfriend hear forged documents blaming Grace for everything." The wedding guests huddled in groups, phones out, documenting every moment of the unfolding drama. Violet's father approached, his face red with rage. "You've ruined everything," he shouted at me. "No," Gerald's father interrupted, still holding the DNA test results. "Your daughter ruined everything. These documents prove it. The forged medical records, the affair, it's all here." Violet collapsed into a chair. "Gerald, tell them it's not true. Tell them we're having a baby." Gerald finally looked up, his face ashen. "Are we, Violet? Are we really?" The silence that followed was deafening. I was going to figure something out," Violet whispered. "Figure something out?" Gerald's mother's voice rose. "You were going to fake a pregnancy too?" More gasps from the crowd. Phones kept recording. Someone muttered, "This is better than reality TV." "Mrs. Anderson," I turned to Gerald's mother, "would you like to know your granddaughters' names?" She nodded eagerly, still holding Lily. "You're holding Lily. Your husband has Rose, and this is Iris." I smiled at the babies. I thought they deserved names as beautiful as they are. "Flower names," Gerald whispered. "Like your grandmother's garden." "The grandmother who raised me after our parents died." I looked at Violet. "The grandmother you were too busy to visit when she was sick." Violet's makeup was completely ruined now. "You always got everything. The attention, the love, the perfect life. I just wanted what I had. I finished for her." "Well, congratulations. You got my husband. But I got something better, the truth. And 3 beautiful daughters who will never have to wonder if they're worthy of love." Gerald stood suddenly. Can I hold one?" The room went quiet again. I hesitated, then carefully transferred Iris to his arms. He stared down at her tiny face, his hands shaking. "She has my mother's nose," he choked out. "They all do," I said softly. "And your eyes. And your chin." "I'm their father," he whispered, reality finally sinking in. "I have daughters." I corrected him. "You had your chance at being their father. You lost that right when you chose lies over truth." Violet lunged forward. "You can't keep them from him. They're his children too." "Actually, Jeremy stepped in, she can. The divorce agreement you so eagerly signed included very specific language about genetic material rights. Grace has full custody. You gave up any claim to children conceived through IVF when you signed those papers." "But I didn't know," Gerald protested. "No, I took Iris back from him. You didn't know because you were too busy planning your new life with my sister to read what you were signing. Too busy believing her lies to see the truth." The wedding planner appeared, nervously wringing her hands. Should I tell the band to start playing?" A laugh rippled through the crowd. Violet's mother stood up. "This wedding is over. Everyone go home." As guests began filing out, many stopped to peer at the babies, to touch my arm in support, to glare at Violet and Gerald. Their perfect wedding had become the perfect scandal. "Grace," Gerald called as I prepared to leave. "Please, can I be part of their lives?" I looked at him, really looked at him, for the first time since entering the room. The man I'd once loved, now reduced to a stranger in a groom's tuxedo, begging for scraps of what could have been his. "You know what the saddest part is?" I said quietly. "If you'd just been honest about your condition, we could have faced it together. We could have been a family. Instead, you chose lies." I turned to the nanny. "Sarah, let's take the girls home." As we walked out of the ruined wedding reception, 3 perfect babies sleeping peacefully in their stroller, I heard Violet's wail echo behind us. "Gerald, where are you going?" But I didn't look back. Some chapters need to end before better ones can begin. The aftermath hit like a tsunami. By morning, Videos of the wedding confrontation had gone viral. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing with messages from reporters, distant relatives, and strangers offering support. "You're trending on Twitter," Irene announced, scrolling through her phone while feeding Rose. "People are calling you #revenge queen." "Great," I sighed, changing Lily's diaper. Just what I wanted. Internet fame. My doorbell rang. Through the security camera, I saw Gerald's mother standing on my porch, holding what looked like a photo album. "Should I let her in?" Irene asked. I nodded. She deserves to know her granddaughters. "Grace," Gerald's mother rushed in, hugging me tightly. "I'm so sorry. We had no idea what they were doing to you." She set the album down and immediately went to the babies. "May I?" "Of course," I said, watching as she gently lifted Iris from her swing. "I brought something," she gestured to the album. "Gerald's baby photos." I thought you might want to see the resemblance." We sat together, flipping through pages while the girls napped. Every photo showed just how strongly my daughters had inherited their father's features. "He's a fool," his mother said suddenly. "Both of them are." Violet's been calling the house nonstop, trying to explain, but she shook her head. "There's no explaining this away." My phone buzzed. A message from Jeremy. "Gerald's at my office. He wants to negotiate visitation rights." "No," I typed back. He made his choice. The doorbell rang again. This time, it was Violet. "Don't open it," Irene warned, but I was already heading to the door. My sister stood there, still wearing yesterday's makeup, clutching a stack of papers. "Grace, please. Just listen." "Why should I?" "Because I'm pregnant," she blurted out. "For real this time. I just found out." I laughed bitterly. "With Gerald's baby? We both know that's impossible." "No, it's not Gerald's." Her voice cracked. "It's Marcus's. From the printing company, where I got the papers forged." Gerald's mother gasped behind me. "Does Gerald know?" "He does now." Violet wiped her eyes. "He left me last night. After the wedding, he said he couldn't trust anything I'd ever told him." "Karma's funny that way," I said, starting to close the door. "Wait." She thrust the papers forward. "These are all the originals. The forged documents, the fake test results, everything. I'm turning myself in. I needed you to know I'm sorry." Before I could respond, another car pulled up. Gerald stepped out, looking like he hadn't slept. "What are you doing here?" Violet asked. "Same as you, I guess," he said, not meeting her eyes. "Trying to make things right." "There's no making this right," I said firmly. "I know," Gerald ran his hands through his hair. "But our daughters." "My daughters," I corrected. "Please," he stepped closer. "I'll do anything. Therapy, parenting classes, whatever you want. Just don't keep them from me forever." One of the babies started crying inside. Gerald's face crumpled at the sound. "You lied to me," I said quietly. "Both of you. You made me think I was broken, that I was less of a woman because I couldn't give you children. Do you have any idea what that did to me?" "I was scared," Gerald admitted. "When I got my diagnosis, I couldn't face it." And then Violet suggested destroying my life instead of dealing with yours? "I'm turning myself in," Violet repeated. "The document fraud, the conspiracy." "I'll plead guilty." Inside, all three babies were crying now. Gerald's mother went to tend to them, leaving us in this twisted family tableau on my front porch. "I have to go take care of my daughters," I said. "You both need to leave." "Grace," Gerald called as I turned away. "Will you ever forgive us?" I looked at my sister, then at my ex-husband. Two people I'd once loved more than anything, now strangers wearing the faces of betrayal. "Forgiveness isn't something you earn by saying sorry," I replied. "It's something you earn through actions, through change, through time." Right now, all I see are two people who got caught in their lies and want absolution. "What can we do?" Violet asked. "Live with your choices," I said. "Like I had to live with your lies. And maybe someday, when my daughters are old enough to understand, I'll let them decide if they want to know the whole story." I closed the door on their protests, returning to my babies. Gerald's mother was successfully calming them, humming an old lullaby. "You're stronger than I ever knew," she said softly. I picked up Lily, breathing in her sweet baby scent. I had to be, for them. Outside, I heard car doors slam, engine start. The sound of consequences driving away, leaving 3 perfect reasons to look forward instead of back. "Look what came in the mail," Irene said, handing me a newspaper clipping while Lily and Rose played with blocks on the floor. Iris was napping in her swing. The headline read, "Local woman pleads guilty to document fraud, conspiracy." Below was Violet's mugshot, her face drawn and pale. 6 months probation and community service, I read aloud. Plus mandatory counseling. "Are you okay?" Irene asked. Before I could answer, my doorbell rang. Gerald's mother stood outside with a familiar-looking box. "I found this in our attic," she said, setting the box on my coffee table. "Your grandmother's recipe collection. Violet took it after she passed, but, well, it belongs to you." I opened the box, inhaling the scent of old paper and memories. "I thought these were lost forever." "Like a lot of things," she said, picking up Rose as she toddled over. Gerald asked about the girls again. "He's been going to therapy," Irene added. "Every week, according to his mother." "I know," I said, watching Lily stack another block. "His therapist contacted me, asked if I'd consider family counseling." The room went quiet except for the baby's babbling. Gerald's mother bounced Rose gently. "And will you?" "I don't know," I admitted. Part of me wants to keep them far away from all that pain. But another part. My phone buzzed. A text from Jeremy. Gerald filed for voluntary child support. No strings attached, no custody demands. Just wants to contribute. "He's trying," his mother said softly. "Trying doesn't undo what they did." "No," she agreed. "But it might help build something new." Lily pulled herself up using the coffee table, reaching for her grandmother. These moments, watching my daughters discover their world, seeing them loved by family who chose truth over lies, made everything worth it. The doorbell rang again. This time it was my elderly neighbor, Mrs. Chen. "Sorry to interrupt," she said, "but there's someone sitting in a car outside. Been there for hours. Should I call the police?" I checked the security camera feed on my phone. Violet sat in her car, just staring at the house. "I'll handle it," I said, handing Lily to Irene. The autumn air was crisp as I walked to Violet's car. She rolled down her window, revealing dark circles under her eyes. "I lost everything," she said without preamble. "Marcus left when I got convicted. My job, my friends, everyone knows what I did." "That's what truth does," I replied. "It reveals who we really are." "I see them sometimes," she nodded toward my house. "At the park with you. They're beautiful." "They are." "I'm getting help," she said quietly. "Real help, not just the court-mandated stuff." "I needed to understand why I hurt you like that." A laugh drifted from my open front door, Lily or Rose, discovering some new delight. "I don't expect forgiveness," Violet continued. "I just needed you to know I understand now. What I took from you. What I tried to destroy. But you didn't destroy me," I said. "You tried to break me, and instead, I became stronger. I became a mother, not because of you or Gerald, but in spite of you both." She nodded, tears falling. Can I see them sometime?" "Not now, but someday." "That's not my decision anymore," I replied. "Someday, they'll be old enough to choose for themselves. Until then, my job is to protect them, including from people who might hurt them like you hurt me." "I understand," she whispered. "Thank you for at least listening." As she drove away, I felt something shift inside me. Not forgiveness exactly, but a release. The weight of betrayal lifting, replaced by the strength of survival. Inside, my daughters were having dinner, Gerald's mother and Irene helping with the chaos of feeding 3 toddlers. "Everything okay?" Irene asked. "Actually, yes," I said, taking my place between Lily and Rose's high chairs. For the first time in a long time, everything's exactly as it should be. Iris threw her spoon, giggling as it clattered to the floor. Rose immediately did the same, followed by Lily, their synchronized mischief a reminder of how they came to be. "You know," Gerald's mother said, retrieving the spoons. Sometimes the family we choose is stronger than the family we're born into. I looked around my kitchen, at Irene, who stood by me through everything, at Gerald's mother, who chose truth over loyalty, at my 3 beautiful daughters, who gave me the strength to fight back. "You're right," I smiled, wiping spaghetti sauce from Lily's chin. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about getting better. Rose reached for me, sauce-covered hands and all, and I pulled her close, not caring about the mess. Because sometimes, the most perfect moments come after the hardest battles, and the sweetest victories aren't about destroying your enemies. They're about building something beautiful from the ashes of what they tried to destroy.
The last person I wanted to see at my father's funeral was my sister, but there she was, perfect as always in her tailored black dress, accepting condolences like a queen holding court. I stood in the corner of the funeral home, clutching my worn leather portfolio like a shield. My name is Amelia, and I've spent my entire life being the Santos sister who never quite measured up. "Darling, you made it!" My mother's voice carried across the room, drawing unwanted attention. She rushed over, her face pinched with worry. "Though really, couldn't you have worn something more appropriate?" I glanced down at my black dress. Perfectly funeral appropriate, just not designer like Alicia's. "Hi, Mom. Yes, I made it." "Amelia." Alicia's voice cut through the murmur of conversations. She glided over, her surgeon's hands clasped elegantly in front of her. "I was beginning to wonder if you'd show up at all." "Of course I came. He was my father, too." "Was he? When was the last time you visited him at the hospital?" Her words were razor sharp, meant to draw blood. "Too busy with your art?" Before I could respond, Knox, Dad's lawyer, appeared at my elbow. "Amelia, could I have a moment?" "She's always had a moment for everyone except family," Alicia announced loudly enough for nearby mourners to hear. "Did you know she missed Dad's last birthday because of some gallery showing?" My cheeks burned. It wasn't just some showing, it was my first solo exhibition, which sold exactly 0 pieces, if I remember correctly. Alicia's smile was surgical precision. "At least when I'm absent, it's because I'm saving lives." "Ladies," Knox interrupted, "this isn't the time or place." Mom wrung her hands. "Alicia's right, though. Your father was so disappointed, Amelia. If you'd just chosen a real career like your sister..." The familiar weight of their disappointment pressed down on my shoulders. I watched as Angelo, my childhood friend, approached with concern in his eyes. His wife, Reese, followed close behind. "Hey, how about we all take a breath?" Angelo suggested, placing himself between me and my sister. "We're here to remember your father." "Oh yes, let's remember him," Alicia continued, her voice dripping with false sweetness. "Let's remember how he spent his last years wondering why his younger daughter couldn't be bothered to visit more than twice a year. How he had to explain to his friends why you weren't at family functions, why you couldn't just be normal." "Enough!" Knox's voice was sharp enough to silence the room. "Robert wouldn't have wanted this." I turned to leave, but Alicia grabbed my arm. "Running away again? You're such an embarrassment. You couldn't even dress properly for Dad's funeral." I yanked my arm free. "At least I'm genuine. When was the last time you were real about anything, Alicia?" The room fell silent. Even the funeral director stopped arranging flowers to watch. "Get out," Alicia hissed. "You don't deserve to be here." I looked to my mother for support, but she was already turning away, patting Alicia's arm consolingly. The familiar ache of rejection bloomed in my chest. "Come on," Angela whispered, touching my elbow. "I'll walk you out." As we headed for the door, Knox caught up with us. "Amelia, wait." He pressed an envelope into my hands. "Your father asked me to give you this, privately." I stared at the envelope, thick, cream-colored, with my name written in Dad's shaky handwriting. "What is it?" I asked. Knox glanced over his shoulder at Alicia, who was now surrounded by sympathetic mourners. Open it when you're alone. And Amelia? His eyes met mine. Your father was proud of you, more than you know. I clutched the envelope to my chest, next to my portfolio. Angelo squeezed my shoulder. Want me to drive you home? I shook my head. I need to walk, clear my head. Call me if you need anything, he said, while Reese nodded encouragingly behind him. Outside, the autumn air was crisp and clean. I could hear the murmur of voices through the funeral home's open windows, Alicia's laugh rising above the rest. My fingers traced the edges of the envelope. Whatever was inside, Dad had wanted me to have it. Not perfect Alicia, not our enabling mother, me. For the first time that day, I felt something other than shame and inadequacy. I felt curious, and maybe, just maybe, a little powerful. I took one last look at the funeral home, at the shadow of my sister moving behind the windows, and started walking. The envelope seemed to pulse with possibility in my hands, like a key waiting to unlock something I never knew I needed. Dad's final message to me. What secrets had he been keeping, and why had he chosen me to receive them? I picked up my pace, eager to get home and find out. My hands trembled as I sat at my kitchen table, staring at the envelope. 3 cups of tea had gone cold, and still, I couldn't bring myself to open it. The sun had set, casting long shadows across my small apartment, when my phone buzzed. Did you open it yet? Angelo's voice was gentle but insistent. No. Want me to come over? I hesitated. Yes, no, maybe. I'll be there in 20 minutes. True to his word, Angelo arrived with a pizza and a determined look. He set it down and pulled up a chair beside me. Okay, enough stalling. Open it. I carefully broke the seal and pulled out several papers. On top was a handwritten letter. My dearest Amelia, I read aloud, my voice catching. If you're reading this, I'm gone, and Knox has fulfilled his promise to deliver this to you, and only you. Angelo leaned forward. Go on. There's a key taped to the back of this letter. It opens Safety Deposit Box 247 at First National downtown. What you'll find there will change everything. But before you go, you need to understand why I'm trusting you with this. I flipped the letter over. Sure enough, a small key was secured with clear tape. Your sister isn't who everyone thinks she is. Neither was I. Make things right, Butterfly. Butterfly? Angelo asked. Dad's nickname for me when I was little, before Alicia became the golden child. I set the letter down. What am I supposed to do with this? Obviously, you need to go to the bank. And walk into whatever mess Dad's dumping on me? No thanks. I've had enough family drama for one lifetime. I pushed the letter away. Angelo grabbed it before it could slide off the table. The man's dead, Amelia. If he wanted you to know something, don't you think you owe it to him to find out what? I owe him? Where was he when Alicia was destroying my art show opening? When Mom was telling everyone I was throwing my life away? Right here. Angelo tapped the letter. Planning whatever this is. For you. My phone buzzed again. A text from Mom. Alicia's hosting a family dinner tomorrow. She expects you to attend and apologize for your behavior. I showed Angelo the message. He rolled his eyes. Perfect timing. What are you going to do? The bank opens at 9, I said, surprising myself. Want to come with me? Morning found us standing outside First National, watching employees file in. Angelo squeezed my hand. Ready? The bank manager, a woman named Patricia, led us to the vault area. I'm sorry for your loss, she said, checking my ID. Your father was a valued customer. The safety deposit box was larger than I expected. Patricia left us in a private viewing room, where I inserted the key with shaking hands. Holy shit, Angelo whispered as I lifted the lid. Inside were folders, USB drives, and what looked like medical records. The top folder was labeled Malpractice AS. AS, Angelo said. Alicia Santos? I opened the folder. Photos spilled out. Medical charts, internal hospital memos, and handwritten notes. My stomach churned as I read. This can't be right, I muttered, but each document confirmed the last. Alicia covered up a botched surgery. The patient, oh God, she ended up paralyzed. Ava Weaver, Angelo read over my shoulder. Age 28, routine procedure gone wrong. Dad knew, he knew, and I couldn't finish the sentence. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Mom. Alicia's waiting for your response about dinner. Angelo touched my arm. Amelia, you okay? I stared at the evidence in my hands. Perfect Alicia. Successful Alicia. The sister who could do no wrong. What am I supposed to do with this? My voice sounded hollow. Whatever you decide, Angelo said carefully. It needs to be for the right reasons, not revenge. Revenge? I laughed, but it came out more like a sob. Dad didn't give this to me for revenge. He wanted the truth to come out. Maybe, but he also knew it would hurt Alicia and your mom. Are you ready for that? I gathered everything back into the box, except for one folder. I need to think. Want me to drive you home? No. I clutched the folder to my chest. I need to do some research first. Find out who Ava Weaver is. Angelo frowned. Be careful once you start down this road. I know. I managed a weak smile. But Dad called me Butterfly. Maybe it's time I caused a hurricane. As we left the bank, I texted Mom back. Tell Alicia I'll be at dinner tomorrow. We have a lot to talk about. The folder felt heavy in my bag, like it was made of lead instead of paper. But for the first time since Dad's death, maybe for the first time in years, I felt something else too. Purpose. Finding Ava wasn't hard. Her Instagram profile was filled with before and after photos. Before the surgery, standing on mountain peaks, running marathons. After, confined to a wheelchair, but still smiling in most shots. Her latest post showed her at a physical therapy session, caption reading, Day 847, still fighting. I sat in my car outside her apartment building, gripping the folder. A text from Angelo lit up my phone. Don't do anything stupid. Too late. I buzzed her apartment. Hello? Her voice was warm, curious. Hi, I'm Robert's daughter. Silence. Then, come up. Ava opened her door before I could knock. She wheeled back to let me in, her movements precise and practiced. I wondered if you'd ever find out. You knew my father? He visited me every month for the past year. She gestured to a photo on her wall, her and Dad at what looked like a cafe. He was gathering evidence. I pulled out the folder. About Alicia. Ava's face hardened. About your sister, yes, the brilliant Dr. Santos, who couldn't admit she made a mistake. She wheeled to her kitchen. Want some coffee? This might take a while. Over coffee, Ava told me everything. The routine spinal surgery, the error, the cover-up. She came to see me after, Ava said, hands wrapped around her mug. Offered me money to keep quiet. Said it would be better for everyone. Did you take it? I did. I was scared, in pain, and she made it sound like my only option. Ava's laugh was bitter. Your father found me 6 months later. He'd noticed discrepancies in the hospital records. My phone buzzed. Mom again. Dinner's at 7. Wear something nice. What are you going to do? Ava asked. I showed her the text. Have dinner with my sister, apparently. That's not what I meant. I know. I stood up, gathering the documents. Can I come back? Talk more? Ava nodded. Your father wanted justice, Amelia, not revenge. Remember that. I barely made it home in time to change. My black dress from yesterday wouldn't do. Alicia would see it as another slight. I chose a blue cocktail dress instead, one I'd bought for my gallery opening but never worn. Alicia's house was exactly what you'd expect. Modern, minimalist, perfect, like her. Mom's car was already in the driveway. You came. Alicia opened the door, martini in hand. And you're almost on time. Mom hurried over. Darling, you look presentable. Thanks, Mom. Really feeling the love. Alicia led us to her dining room. I thought we should clear the air after yesterday's unpleasantness. Unpleasantness? I set my bag down carefully, the folder inside feeling like a bomb. Is that what we're calling it? Amelia, Mom warned. No, let her speak. Alicia sipped her martini. I'm sure she has plenty to say about how unfair everything is. I thought of Ava, of her wheelchair, of Dad visiting her month after month. Actually, I wanted to ask you about a patient. Ava Weaver? The martini glass froze halfway to Alicia's lips. What? Ring any bells? Routine spinal surgery? About 2 years ago? Mom looked confused. Alicia, what's she talking about? Nothing. Alicia's voice was sharp. It's nothing. I pulled out the folder. Dad didn't think it was nothing. The color drained from Alicia's face. Where did you get that? Does it matter? What matters is what's inside. I opened it, laid out the photos, the documents. Want to tell Mom about it, or should I? Alicia? Mom picked up a photo. What is this? It's lies. Alicia stood up so fast her chair fell backward. Whatever Dad told you, whatever you think you know, I know you paralyzed a woman and paid her to keep quiet. My voice was steady, calmer than I felt. I know Dad found out and spent the last year of his life gathering evidence. Mom's hands were shaking. Tell me this isn't true. Of course it's not true. Alicia grabbed the folder. This is just Amelia trying to ruin everything, like always. No, I stood up too. This is me finally seeing you clearly, the perfect daughter, the brilliant surgeon. It's all a lie, isn't it? Alicia threw her martini glass. It shattered against the wall behind me, sending gin and glass everywhere. Get out! Gladly. I grabbed my bag. But this isn't over. Is that a threat? I thought of Ava's smile in her Instagram photos, of her determination to keep fighting. No, it's a promise. To Dad, to make things right. I left them there, Alicia screaming, Mom crying, the evidence scattered across the perfect dining room table like shrapnel from an explosion. Outside, I texted Angelo. It's done. No going back now. His response came quickly. You okay? I wasn't, but for the first time in my life, I knew exactly what I had to do. Angelo's backyard was my safe haven growing up, and nothing had changed. I sat on the old swing set while he grilled burgers, Reese bringing out plates and condiments. You should have seen her face, I said, pushing myself gently back and forth, like her whole world was cracking. Good, Reese muttered, arranging tomato slices. Angelo flipped a burger. Maybe not good. Complicated. How is it complicated? Reese demanded. She paralyzed someone and covered it up. Because, Angelo said, giving me a pointed look, there's always more to the story. I pulled out my phone, showing them Alicia's latest text. If you pursue this, I'll destroy you. Remember who Mom believes. Charming, Reese said. She's scared, Angelo noted, plating the burgers. People do desperate things when they're scared. Like paralyze someone and cover it up? I couldn't keep the bitterness from my voice. No, like visiting that someone every month for a year. He sat down across from me. Your dad, I mean. Why do you think he did that? I took a bite of my burger to avoid answering, but Angelo waited me out. Because he wanted justice for Ava, I finally said. Try again. Because he wanted to expose Alicia? One more time. I set my burger down. Because he wanted to understand. Bingo. Angelo leaned forward. Look, I've known your family since we were kids. Your dad wasn't a vindictive man. If he spent a year gathering evidence, it wasn't just to bring Alicia down. Then what was it for? That's what you need to find out. My phone buzzed again, a text from Knox. We need to talk. Come to my office tomorrow. The plot thickens, Reese said, reading over my shoulder. Knox knows something, I said. He has to. Dad trusted him with everything. Including that envelope, Angelo reminded me. Maybe it's time to ask why. The next morning, Knox's office felt colder than usual. He waited until his secretary brought coffee before speaking. Your father came to me about Ava's case 18 months ago, he said, sliding a file across his desk. He wanted legal advice. About prosecuting Alicia? About protecting her. I nearly dropped my coffee. Protecting her? From what? Knox opened the file. From herself, from your mother, from the impossible standards that drove her to cover up a mistake instead of admitting she was human. That's not an excuse. No, it's not, but it is context. He pulled out a letter. Your mother's expectations nearly destroyed both her daughters. One turned to art to escape. The other, well, turned to perfection. I finished. At any cost. Knox's eyes were sad. Your father blamed himself. He thought if he'd stood up to your mother sooner, protected you both better. So what? I stood up, pacing. I'm supposed to feel sorry for Alicia now? After everything? You're supposed to understand her. That's what your father wanted. Knox handed me the letter. Read this. It's from him to Alicia. He never sent it. I scanned the pages, my hands shaking. My dearest Alicia, I watched you become what your mother wanted, but lost who you were meant to be. Every achievement became a prison, every success a new bar to reach. I failed you by staying silent. I failed both my butterflies by letting her clip your wings. He called her butterfly too? My voice cracked. You both were, before the competition started. Knox took back the letter. Your father's last wish wasn't about revenge, Amelia. It was about healing. It's too late for that. Is it? You have the evidence. You could destroy her career, her reputation, or what? Or you could help her face what she did, help her become human again. Knox smiled slightly. Your father believed you were the only one strong enough to do it. I sat back down, remembering Alicia's face at dinner, the fear behind her anger. She threatened me. Of course she did. She's terrified. Question is, what are you going to do about it? My phone lit up. A message from Ava. Heard you confronted your sister. Can we talk? I showed Knox the message. He nodded. Seems like the universe is trying to tell you something. Standing to leave, I asked, why did Dad choose me for this? Because you're the only one who ever dared to be imperfect. Knox's voice was gentle. And sometimes, that's the strongest thing we can be. Outside, I texted Ava back. Yes, but first, I need to understand something. Tell me about my sister. Not the doctor who hurt you, the person she was before. The response came quickly. Come over. Your father told me stories. You should hear them. I took a deep breath, thinking of two little butterflies, wings not yet clipped. Maybe Knox was right. Maybe understanding was the first step toward healing. Or maybe I was about to make the biggest mistake of my life. She used to draw, Ava said, showing me a sketch on her phone. Your father shared this with me. Said Alicia drew it when she was 16. The sketch showed two girls on a swing set. Clearly Alicia and me. The detail was incredible. The joy in our expressions captured perfectly. I had no idea she could draw, I whispered. Your father said she stopped when she started pre-med. Said your mom made her choose. Ava wheeled to her desk, pulling out more photos. He visited me so often, told me so many stories. I think he needed someone to remember who Alicia used to be. Why you? Because I was angry, like you are now. She smiled sadly. He thought if he could help me understand her, maybe I could find peace. Did you? Getting there. Ava handed me a journal. Your father gave me this last month, said if anything happened to him, I should share it with you. The journal was filled with Dad's handwriting, documenting conversations with hospital staff, with Alicia's colleagues, with Mom. A pattern emerged, one of relentless pressure, impossible standards, and a young doctor cracking under the weight of perfection. She was sleep-deprived, I read aloud, working 36-hour shifts. Mom was bragging about it at church. Keep reading. Hospital Review noted concerns about her mental state 3 weeks before my surgery. Administrator overruled because of her perfect record. Mother's influence on the board. My phone buzzed. Alicia calling. I declined it. She's been trying to reach you? Ava asked. Yeah, probably to threaten me more. Or maybe she's scared. Your father said fear was always her biggest motivator. Another buzz. A text this time. Please, we need to talk. Come to the hospital. She's at work, I told Ava. Wants me to meet her. Go. Ava took back the journal. But remember what your father learned. Understanding doesn't mean excusing. The hospital corridors felt sterile and oppressive. I found Alicia in her office, still in scrubs, looking exhausted. You came? She said, surprised. You asked. She closed the door. I performed 3 surgeries today. Perfect outcomes, all of them. Know what I thought about during each one? Ava? Her, every cut, every stitch. Alicia's hands trembled. I haven't made a mistake since her. Not one. Because I can't. Mom's on the board, everyone's watching, expecting perfection. Excellence, she spat the word. Mom's favorite. Excellence isn't optional, Alicia. Excellence is who we are. Who she wanted us to be, I corrected. You escaped. Alicia's laugh was hollow. Chose art, chose freedom. I chose this. You chose to cover up a mistake instead of admitting you're human. I chose to protect everything I'd worked for. She slammed her hand on the desk. Do you know what Mom would have done if what? If you'd shown weakness? Join the club, Alicia. I've been a disappointment since day one. And you're stronger for it. She slumped in her chair. Dad knew. He tried to tell me, tried to help, but I couldn't listen, couldn't risk everything I'd built. Built on what? Lies? Fear? Built on excellence. Her voice cracked. Always excellence. My phone buzzed again. Angelo, you okay? I have to go, I said, standing. Wait. Alicia grabbed my arm. What are you going to do? With the evidence? I looked at her. Really looked at her. The perfect surgeon, the golden child, the sister who used to draw. All those versions of her, trapped in a prison of excellence. I don't know yet, I answered honestly, but Dad didn't give me those files for revenge. Then why? Maybe to help you break free, like I did. Her grip tightened. By destroying my career? By facing the truth, starting with Ava. I can't. Fear flashed across her face. Mom would never. Mom's not the one who has to live with it. You are. I gently removed her hand. Think about it, about who you were before excellence became your cage. I left her there, surrounded by her medical degrees and awards, all the trappings of perfection she'd sacrificed everything for. Outside, I texted Angelo. I'm okay, but I think I finally understand what Dad was trying to do. And what's that? I thought of the sketch Ava showed me, of 2 sisters on a swing set, both still free to fly. Save both his butterflies. I wrote back, not just one. My phone lit up one more time, Alicia again. I found my old sketchbook, the one Mom made me burn. Except, I didn't burn it. Dad helped me hide it. I think I need to show you something. I stared at the message, feeling something shift inside me. Maybe understanding wasn't just the first step toward healing. Maybe it was the first step toward freedom. The sketchbook lay between us on Alicia's kitchen table, its pages yellow with age. Neither of us had touched it yet. Dad kept it in his study, Alicia said, hands wrapped around her third cup of coffee, behind that awful painting Mom gave him. The hunting dogs? I almost smiled. He hated that thing. But Mom loved it, so up it went. Alicia reached for the sketchbook, then pulled back. I can't. Want me to? She nodded. The first sketch was of Mom, younger, laughing, an expression I barely recognized. Next came Dad in his garden, then me as a toddler, sleeping with my stuffed elephant. These are amazing, I whispered. They're nothing, just silly drawings. No, I turned another page. They're everything Mom tried to erase. Alicia flinched. My phone buzzed, a news alert. My heart stopped when I saw the headline, Prestigious Hospital Under Investigation. Anonymous source reveals malpractice cover-up. Alicia, she was already reading it on her own phone, face draining of color. No, no, no. I didn't do this, I said quickly. I swear. Then who? Her phone rang. Mom's name flashed on the screen. Don't answer it. I have to. She picked up. Mom? I could hear Mom's voice, shrill and panicked, through the speaker. Alicia put it on speakerphone. Disgraceful. The board is in emergency session. Tell me you can fix this. Mom, No excuses. You get to that hospital and handle this. Excellence isn't optional, Alicia. It's who we are. Alicia's hand trembled. I reached across the table and pressed the end call button. She's right, Alicia whispered. I have to go. Damage control. No. What? No more damage control. No more cover-ups. I opened my phone, showing her a new message from Ava. It wasn't me, but maybe it's time. She's right, I said. Maybe it's time to be human instead of excellent. Alicia's phone kept buzzing. Mom, the hospital, reporters. She stared at the sketchbook, at a drawing of herself as a teenager, paintbrush in hand, smile unguarded. I can't, she whispered. You can. We can. I pulled out Dad's letter from my bag. Read this. Dad wrote it before he died, but never sent it. She read silently, tears falling onto the paper. Her phone buzzed again. The hospital administrator. What do I do? Her voice was small, like when we were kids, and she'd ask me to check for monsters under her bed. We go to the hospital, together, and you tell the truth. Mom will never forgive me. Maybe, but you might finally forgive yourself. The hospital was swarming with reporters. We slipped in through a side entrance, but news had already spread. Staff members stared, whispered behind their hands. The boardroom was packed. Administrators, lawyers, Mom sitting front and center, face like thunder. Alicia, thank God. Tell them it's all lies. Show them your records, your perfect record. No, Mom. Alicia's voice was steady. No more lies. She walked to the front of the room. I stood beside her, hand on her shoulder. 2 years ago, I made a mistake during surgery. I was exhausted, overworked, trying to maintain impossible standards. She looked directly at Mom. I was afraid to admit I wasn't perfect, so I covered it up, and a woman named Ava paid the price. Stop talking, Mom hissed. Right now. The truth is, Alicia continued, I'm not excellent. I'm human, and humans make mistakes. The room erupted in chaos. Mom stormed out. Lawyers huddled in corners. My phone buzzed with a text from Knox. Your father would be proud, both of you. Hours later, after statements and meetings and preliminary agreements, we sat in Alicia's office one last time. She was packing her degrees into a box. "Suspended pending investigation," she said. "Could lose my license. Or you could get help. Prove you've changed." I picked up her old sketchbook. "Maybe find other parts of yourself again. Like drawing? Like being human." Her phone lit up, Ava's number. We both stared at it. "Answer it," I said. "It's time." Alicia took a deep breath and picked up. "Hello, Ava. Yes. I think we should meet. I have a lot to say, and even more to apologize for." When she hung up, something had changed in her face, like a weight had lifted, replaced by something else, something real. "What now?" she asked. "Now?" I opened the sketchbook to a blank page, pulled out a pencil from her desk. "Now you start drawing again, start living again, start being yourself again. And Mom? Mom can learn to love an imperfect daughter. She's had practice with me." Alicia actually laughed, a real laugh, like in Dad's old photos. She took the pencil and for the first time in 20 years, began to draw. The cafe was Ava's choice, neutral ground, she'd said. Alicia sat across from her, hands wrapped around an untouched coffee. I sat between them, feeling like a mediator at a peace treaty. "I've imagined this moment so many times," Ava said. "What I'd say, what I'd do. But now?" She gestured to the sketchbook on the table. "Your father showed me your art, said it was who you really were." "I'm not that person anymore," Alicia whispered. "No, you're not. You're the doctor who paralyzed me, and the woman who tried to buy my silence. And now?" Ava leaned forward. "Now, who are you?" "I don't know. Not good enough." Ava's voice was steel. "I spent 2 years learning who I am without the use of my legs. You can spend 5 minutes being honest about who you are without your perfect facade." My phone buzzed. Mom again. I'd been ignoring her calls since the hospital. "She won't stop," Alicia said, noticing. "She's been calling me too. Showed up at my house last night." "What did she want?" I asked. "To tell me how I've ruined everything, how I've destroyed our family's reputation." Alicia's laugh was bitter. "She brought a PR team." "Of course she did," I turned to Ava. "Our mother, she's part of why this happened. Not an excuse, but—" "I know." Ava pulled out her phone, showed us a video. Mom at a charity gala, speaking about excellence, about her perfect daughter, the surgeon. "Your father showed me these too. Said I needed to understand the whole story." "Dad showed you a lot," Alicia said. "He visited me every month, not just to gather evidence, but to help me heal, to help me understand." Ava put her phone away. "He wanted me to forgive you." "I don't deserve forgiveness." "No, you don't, but I deserve peace. And maybe—" Ava took a deep breath. "Maybe that starts with understanding each other." The cafe door chimed. Mom walked in, spotted us, and froze. "Oh, God," Alicia muttered. Mom approached our table, her heels clicking like warning shots. "What is this? Alicia, the lawyers said no contact with—" "Sit down, Mom," I said. "I will not. This is completely inappropriate. The liability—" "Sit down." Alicia's voice was quiet but firm. "Meet Ava. Really meet her." Mom looked at Ava like she was a bomb about to explode. But slowly, she sat. "Mrs. Douglas," Ava said coolly, "your husband told me so much about you." "Robert? What do you mean he—" "He visited me, showed me videos of you pushing Alicia to be perfect, showed me what that pressure did to her." Ava's eyes were sharp. "Showed me how it broke both your daughters in different ways." "I never broke them. I made them strong." "You made me afraid," Alicia cut in. "Afraid to be human. Afraid to make mistakes. So afraid that when I did make one, I destroyed someone's life trying to hide it." "And you made me feel worthless," I added. Because I couldn't be your version of perfect. Mom's hands trembled. Everything I did was for you both. No. Alicia opened her sketchbook, showed Mom the old drawings. Everything you did was for you. For your reputation, your excellence. Look at them, Ava said quietly. Really look at your daughters, one hiding her true self until she broke, one forced to run away to find herself. Is that excellence? Mom stared at the sketches, moments of joy, of creativity, of imperfect beauty captured in pencil strokes. I didn't. She touched a drawing of us as children, all three of us in Dad's garden. I never meant to. We know, I said, but meaning to hurt someone and doing it anyway. That's something we all need to face. Alicia turned to Ava. I can't undo what I did, but I can stop hiding from it, stop pretending to be perfect. Good, Ava said, because I'm filing a formal complaint with the medical board, not for revenge, but because it's right, because other patients deserve to know the truth. I understand, Alicia whispered, and I'm testifying about the culture at the hospital, Ava continued, about the pressure, the cover-ups, the board's role. She looked at Mom. All of it. Mom stood up so fast her chair scraped back. I need to go. Running away won't fix this, I said. No. Mom straightened her jacket. But maybe I need to learn how to be imperfect too. After she left, Ava reached across the table and took Alicia's hand. Your father believed in second chances, not because we deserve them, but because we need them to become better. Alicia squeezed her hand, tears falling onto the sketchbook. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Ava released her hand. This is just the beginning. The hard part comes next. What's that? I asked. Learning to live with who we really are, Ava said. All of us. Ready? Angelo asked, helping me hang the last piece. The gallery walls were lined with artwork, my paintings interspersed with Alicia's sketches. In the center, a collaborative piece we'd created together, two butterflies emerging from their chrysalises, wings still wet but unfurling. Not really, I admitted, but that's okay. The medical board had suspended Alicia's license for 2 years, mandating therapy and supervision before she could practice again. She'd started volunteering at Ava's physical therapy center, not as a doctor, but as an art therapy assistant. The door chimed. Mom walked in, looking smaller somehow, without her usual armor of perfectionism. It's beautiful, she said, studying the butterfly piece. Both of you together. That was Dad's dream, I said, us working together instead of against each other. More people arrived. Knox, Reese, hospital staff, local artists, and Ava, wheeling in with a bright smile and a portfolio of her own photographs. Where's Alicia? Mom asked. Here. My sister hurried in, carrying a wrapped canvas. Sorry, last-minute changes. She set up the canvas on an easel, hands shaking slightly as she unveiled it. The painting showed 3 women, Mom, Alicia, and me, but not in our usual roles. Instead, we were in Dad's garden, dirt on our knees, laughing as we planted flowers. It's not perfect, Alicia said. The proportions are a bit off, and the lighting? It's real, Mom interrupted, touching the canvas gently. That's better than perfect. Knox clinked his glass for attention. If I could say a few words? Robert left me a letter to read at this moment. The room quieted. I grabbed Alicia's hand. My dearest daughters, Knox read. If you're hearing this, you've finally found your way back to each other, not through excellence or perfection, but through truth and acceptance. My butterflies, free at last to spread your wings. And Linda? Knox looked at Mom. My love, free at last from the cage of expectations you built around our family. This gallery showing isn't just art, it's liberation for all of you, Ava wheeled forward. Speaking of liberation, she handed Alicia an envelope. The board reviewed your case, given your honesty, the changes at the hospital, and your work at the therapy center. Alicia opened it with trembling fingers. They're reducing the suspension? 6 months instead of 2 years? With conditions, Ava said, including continuing your art therapy program. It's helping people, Alicia. Not through perfect surgery, but through healing of a different kind. I watched Mom approach one of my paintings, an abstract piece expressing years of feeling inadequate. She stood there for a long time. I did this, she finally said, created so much pain trying to prevent it. We all did, Alicia said, but we're learning, growing. Together, I added. The gallery filled with visitors. I watched Alicia proudly explaining her sketches, saw Mom actually listening to people's interpretations without trying to control the narrative. Even Knox seemed lighter, as if Dad's final mission was complete. Hey! Angelo appeared at my elbow. Look who's here! In the doorway stood a group of Ava's physical therapy patients, including several who'd joined the art therapy program. They carried a large card signed by everyone at the center. Your father would be proud, Knox said, joining us. Not because you're perfect, but because you're authentically you. Both of you, Mom added softly. Alicia and I exchanged glances. The butterfly piece between us caught the gallery lights, making the wings seem to shimmer with possibility. I have something to show you, Alicia said. She led us to a small room off the main gallery. The walls were covered with new sketches, scenes from the therapy center, patients finding strength through art, moments of triumph and frustration captured in honest detail. In the center, a portrait of Dad in his garden, surrounded by butterflies. He always believed in second chances, Alicia said, in becoming who we're meant to be, not who we're told to be. And who are you meant to be? Ava asked from the doorway. Alicia looked at her sketches, at the healing they represented. Someone who helps people heal. Through medicine when I can, through art when I can't, through truth always. And you? Mom turned to me. Someone who shows others it's okay to be imperfect. That beauty exists in the flaws. The gallery buzzed with life and conversation. Through the windows, I could see Dad's garden at home, the flowers he planted still blooming despite everything. To Dad, I said, raising my glass, who gave us the greatest gift? The courage to be imperfect, Alicia finished. The wisdom to be real, Mom added. The freedom to fly, Ava concluded. Outside, butterflies danced through Dad's garden, their wings catching the light. Not perfect, but beautiful. Just like us, just like he always knew we could be.
The sound of shattering glass punctuates my sister's announcement like an exclamation mark. My mother's favorite crystal vase lies in pieces on the hardwood floor, knocked over by Lily's dramatic gesture as she waves her left hand, showing off an engagement ring that probably cost more than my monthly rent. We're getting married in June, Lily squeals, completely ignoring the destruction at her feet, and we want to have it at the Plaza Hotel. I'm Joy, and this is the moment my carefully constructed facade of family harmony finally cracks. My father's face drains of color. The Plaza? Sweetheart, with your medical bills. Daddy, please, this is my special day. I've always dreamed of this. Of course she has. And of course, they'll find a way to make it happen. They always do for Lily. We'll figure something out, my mother says, already reaching for her phone, probably to check their credit card limits. She steps around the broken glass like it isn't even there. Maybe we can take out a second mortgage. I can't help but laugh. It comes out harsh, bitter. A second mortgage? Are you serious? 3 pairs of eyes turn to me, as if suddenly remembering I exist. My daughter Emily clutches my hand, sensing the tension in the room. She's only 6, but she's already learned to read these family dynamics better than most adults. Joy, please, my mother warns. This is Lily's moment. It's always Lily's moment, I say, my voice trembling. When Ryan died, you couldn't even come to the funeral because Lily had a doctor's appointment, a routine checkup, Mom, not even an emergency. Lily's lower lip quivers. That's not fair. You know I need regular monitoring. What's not fair is that Dad works 3 jobs to pay for your treatments, while you post Instagram stories from spa weekends. The words explode out of me, years of resentment finally finding their voice. How dare you? My mother steps between us. Your sister is sick. Is she? Really? Because she looks pretty healthy when she's shopping at Nordstrom or having lunch at that new French place downtown. Lily bursts into tears, right on cue. My father moves to comfort her, but I'm not finished. You kicked me out of my old room because Lily needed a recovery space. I was 8 months pregnant, and you made me sleep on the couch. That was temporary, my father says weakly. Everything's temporary when it comes to me, isn't it? But Lily's needs, those are always permanent, always priority. My mother's face hardens. If you can't be happy for your sister, maybe you should leave. Happy? I laugh again, and it sounds unhinged even to my own ears. Happy about watching you bankrupt yourselves for her wedding, while I had to take out loans to bury my husband. Mommy, Emily's voice is small, scared. It's okay, baby. I squeeze her hand. We're leaving. Joy, don't be dramatic, my father starts. But I'm already gathering our things. No, Mom's right. We should leave. But before we go, you should know something. I pull out my phone, hands shaking. I've been doing some digging. Those medical bills you've been paying. I'd take a closer look at where that money's really going. Lily's face goes white. For once, the tears stop. What are you talking about? My father asks. Ask your precious daughter about her secret credit card. The one she uses for her treatments at Saks Fifth Avenue. You're lying, Lily shrieks. Get out, my mother screams. Get out of this house. I grab Emily's coat and my purse. Gladly. But remember this moment. Remember when you chose her lies over my truth. Again, as I walk out into the night with my daughter, I hear Lily's sobs and my mother's soothing words. Same script, different day. But this time, something's different. This time, I'm not coming back to apologize. This time, I'm going to make them see exactly what their golden child has been doing to this family. And God help them all when the truth finally comes out. Clara's guest room feels like a refuge, but the memories won't let me sleep. Emily's steady breathing from the air mattress beside me only reminds me of another night, 7 years ago, when I sat alone in a hospital waiting room while my sister monopolized our parents' attention. Again, my high school graduation. That's where it all started to unravel. I trace the edge of my phone, staring at the dozen missed calls from my father. The screen lights up again. Mom this time. I silence it and pull up the photo gallery instead. There it is, the image that started tonight's explosion. Lily at Le Cirque last week, champagne glass raised high, wearing a designer dress that costs more than 3 of Dad's mortgage payments. You're still awake? Clara appears in the doorway, holding 2 steaming mugs. I made chamomile. Thanks. I accept the tea, but don't drink. I keep thinking about what Dad said when I got into Columbia. We're so proud, but with Lily's new treatment, they couldn't help with tuition. Clara finishes. She's heard this story before. Meanwhile, Lily dropped out of community college because it was too stressful with her condition. I pull up another photo on my phone. Look at this stress. Clara leans in, examining the image of Lily at a spa resort from 2 months ago. Those mud treatments must be part of her medical regimen. You know what's funny? When Ryan died, I had to beg them to watch Emily for the funeral. Lily had a migraine that day. My laugh comes out hollow, but she managed to post 3 TikTok dance videos. Joy, Clara hesitates. Have you ever shown them these photos? They wouldn't believe me, or they'd make excuses. They always do. My phone buzzes again. A text from Dad. Please come home. We can talk about this. Delete it, Clara advises. You need space to think. Space won't change anything. You know what I found last week? I pull out a crumpled receipt from my purse. This fell out of Lily's purse when she asked me to grab her medication. It's for a weekend at the Ritz-Carlton, the same weekend Mom and Dad took out a personal loan for her emergency treatment. Clara's eyes widen. Are you sure? The dates match perfectly. I checked their bank statements. Dad still uses my old laptop. Never cleared the passwords. I spread more receipts across the bed. Look, Gucci, Prada, Day Spas, all charged to an account called Medical Expenses LLC. She set up a whole fake company. That's fraud, Clara whispers. And that's just what I've found so far. My hands shake as I gather the papers. They remortgaged their house 3 times for her. Dad's working himself to death at 60. And she's spending it all on... A small voice interrupts. Mommy? Emily sits up on her mattress, rubbing her eyes. Are we going to live with Aunt Clara forever? My throat tightens. No, baby. Just until Mommy figures some things out. Is Aunt Lily sick again? The innocent question hits like a punch to the gut. Even my 6-year-old has been conditioned to worry about Lily's health. Emily, sweetheart. Clara steps in. How about some hot chocolate in the kitchen? After they leave, I pull up one last photo on my phone. It's from my wedding day. The only time I've seen Lily genuinely sick. Not from her mysterious chronic illness, but from rage that someone else was the center of attention. The next text from Dad makes my decision for me. Lily's very upset. She needs her big sister. I type back 4 words. She needs to confess. Then I open my laptop and start documenting everything. Every receipt, every bank statement, every social media post that contradicts her medical claims. 7 years of manipulation and lies, carefully cataloged in a growing spreadsheet. They wanted me to be the responsible one. Fine. I'll show them exactly how responsible I can be. My phone lights up one last time. It's Lily. You're just jealous because Mom and Dad love me more. I save the message, add it to my evidence file. Then I text back, enjoy it while it lasts, sis. The truth has a way of coming out. I close my laptop, listening to Emily's distant laughter from the kitchen. For the first time since Ryan died, I feel something other than grief or resentment. I feel powerful. Let them worry about what I'll do next. They've had years of peace while I swallowed their lies. Now it's my turn. The medical billing office smells like disinfectant and secrets. I adjust my name badge, borrowed from Clara's cousin, who works in healthcare administration, and smile at the receptionist. Just need to verify some insurance claims for the Martinez account. 3 years of customer service work taught me how to sound professional, detached. Inside, my heart hammers against my ribs. 20 minutes later, I'm staring at records that confirm everything I suspected. And worse, my phone vibrates. A text from Susan, Emily's nanny. Your mother stopped by the house again, wanted to see Emily. I ignore it, focusing on the screen before me. Lily's treatments at Metropolitan Hospital ended 2 years ago. The specialist she claims to see monthly doesn't exist. But the bills, the massive crushing bills my parents are drowning in, keep coming. Finding everything okay? The receptionist peers over. I nod, snapping photos discreetly with my phone. Just thorough documentation. Back in my car, I call Clara. It's worse than we thought. She's been forging medical documents, creating fake bills. The whole thing is a scam. Jesus. Clara breathes. What are you gonna do? Before I can answer, another call comes in. Dad. I switch back to Clara. I'll call you later. I answer his call, keeping my voice neutral. Yes? Joy, please. He sounds tired, more tired than usual. Your mother's a wreck. Lily's condition is getting worse with all this stress. Is it? The words come out sharp. When was the last time you actually saw her at a doctor's appointment? Silence. That's what I thought. She needs privacy with her medical. Did you know her specialist, Dr. Chen, doesn't exist? That Metropolitan Hospital hasn't treated her in 2 years. More silence. Then, what are you talking about? I have proof, Dad. Real proof. Bank statements, forged documents, everything. Your precious Lily has been. A text interrupts me. From Lily. Back off or I tell them about Ryan. My blood turns to ice. Joy? What proof? What are you? I'll call you back. I hang up, hands shaking as I open Lily's text thread. Me. What about Ryan? Lily. About what really happened that night. About whose fault it really was. The memory hits like a physical blow. Ryan. Rushing to the hospital because Lily called, crying, claiming she needed emergency help. The rainy night. The truck he never saw coming. But she wasn't even there when he arrived. She was at a club downtown. I saw the Instagram posts later, time-stamped during her supposed crisis. Me. You wouldn't dare. Lily, try me. Mom and Dad would be devastated to learn their perfect older daughter killed her husband because she was too busy being jealous to tell him I'd called to cancel. My vision blurs. She's twisting it, manipulating the truth like she does everything else. But the guilt I've carried for 3 years, wondering if I should have told Ryan to wait, to verify Lily really needed help, rises up like bile. Another text from Susan. Your mother's still here. She's crying on the front porch. Emily's asking questions. I start the car, hands steady now despite the rage coursing through me. Two can play at manipulation. Me. Funny thing about proof, Lily. I have the club receipts from that night, the Instagram posts, the cell phone records showing you called Ryan for help while you were dancing at Vault. Wonder what Mom and Dad would think about that. 3 dots appear as she types, disappear, appear again. Lily, you're bluffing. I sent her a screenshot of her own Instagram story from that night. Her, dancing with friends, timestamp matching exactly when she called Ryan begging for help. Me, want to try that thread again? No response. I drive home, mind racing. She showed her hand too early. Gave me leverage I didn't have before. Classic Lily, always overplaying when she feels cornered. Susan meets me at the door. Your mother left finally. Emily's upset. I find my daughter in her room, clutching the teddy bear Ryan gave her. Grandma said Aunt Lily's really sick, she whispers, that we're being mean to her. I sit on the bed, pulling Emily close. Sometimes people who seem sick are just really good at pretending, baby. Like when I fake a tummy ache to skip school. Something like that. I kiss her head, an idea forming. Hey, remember how Daddy always said the truth sets you free? Emily nods. Well, Mommy's about to set a lot of truth free. I pull out my phone, starting an email to my parents' financial advisor. Subject line, fraud alert, Lily Martinez Medical Expenses, LLC. Time to let the dominoes fall where they may. The financial advisor's response arrives at 3 a.m. I've been refreshing my email every few minutes, watching Emily sleep while my world threatens to implode again. Ms. Martinez, this is a serious matter requiring immediate investigation. I've forwarded your evidence to the relevant authorities. My phone rings. Unknown number. Hello? This is Detective Sarah Morris. We received some concerning documentation about potential financial fraud. My hands shake as I step into the hallway. Yes, I sent those files. We'll need you to come in. There are complications you should be aware of. 2 hours later, I'm sitting in a sterile police station conference room, staring at documents I never expected to see. Your father's signature appears on several of these authorizations. Detective Morris says carefully. He was listed as co-founder of the LLC. The room spins. That's impossible. He wouldn't. The evidence suggests he was aware of the arrangement. Whether he understood the full scope is unclear, but legally speaking, I stop listening. On the table, Dad's signature mocks me. Not forged, not copied. His actual signature on document after document. My phone buzzes. Clara, Emily's asking for you. Everything okay? I text back one word, no. The detective's voice cuts through my haze. There's more. Your sister's fiancé is connected to several similar schemes in 3 states. We've been building a case. The pieces click together with sickening clarity. Dad's signature, Lily's expensive fiancé, the rushed wedding plans. They're planning to run. I need to go. I stand abruptly. My daughter, Ms. Martinez. Detective Morris's voice stops me. If your father was involved unknowingly, coming forward now could help his case. I laugh, hollow. Help his case. He chose this. He chose her. Again. Outside, the morning sun feels like an accusation. I call Clara. Don't let Emily watch the news today, I say, without preamble. Joy, what's happening? I started something I can't stop. Just keep her away from screens, please. I drive to my parents' house, knowing what I'll find. The driveway is empty. The front door stands slightly open. Inside, drawers hang open. Papers litter the floor. On the kitchen counter, a note in my mother's handwriting. She's our daughter, too. My phone rings. Lily. Enjoying your revenge? Her voice drips poison. Dad's having chest pains from the stress. But I guess that's what you wanted, right? To destroy everything? Where are you taking them? Taking them. They chose to come. Just like they always choose me. A pause. You know why? Because I need them. You've always been so strong, so independent. The perfect daughter who never needed anything. Except now you need to win, don't you? You're stealing their retirement, their house. I'm giving them purpose. What are you giving them except pain? The line goes dead. I sink onto the kitchen floor, surrounded by the debris of my parents' fled life. A photo album lies open nearby. My wedding day. Ryan smiling. Lily scowling in her bridesmaid dress. Dad looking proud, his arm around me. Dad, who signed those documents, who chose to be complicit. My phone buzzes. Detective Morris, we've flagged their passports. Your sister's fiancé was spotted at Newark Airport. Another text follows. Your parents withdrew everything from their accounts this morning. All of it. I should feel triumphant. This is what I wanted. Lily exposed, their web of lies unraveled. Instead, I feel hollow. The front door creaks. I tense, but it's just Clara. Susan has Emily, she says softly. I thought you shouldn't be alone. I did this, I whisper. I broke everything. No. Clara sits beside me. They broke it long ago. You just stopped pretending it wasn't broken. My phone lights up again. Dad, I know what you did. His text reads. But you don't understand. She needs us. She'll die without us. I stare at his words, feeling something shift inside me. Not grief, not rage, something colder. She won't die, I text back. But your retirement might. Your house might. Your freedom might. His response comes quickly. You wouldn't. I think of Emily, waiting at home. Of Ryan, dead because of Lily's lies. Of years of being the responsible one, the strong one, the one they could ignore because I wouldn't break. Watch me, I type, and press send. Detective Morris's words echo in my head as I scroll through Aunt Rachel's Facebook comments. Your sister's operation spans multiple states. This isn't just about family anymore. I click share on another carefully selected photo. Lily at the Ritz, dripping in designer clothes, time-stamped during her supposed hospital stay. The comments roll in immediately, but she was too sick to attend my son's wedding that weekend. Wait, isn't this when Daniel said they needed to borrow money for her treatment? My phone buzzes. A text from Mom's sister. Just saw the posts, called the hospital she claimed to be at last month. They've never heard of her. The dominoes are falling. One by one. Clara appears in my doorway. Your cousin Marcus called. Says your parents just tried to refinance their beach house through his firm. Did he approve it? No. But Joy, she hesitates. He said your dad was crying. Actually crying. Something twists in my chest. I push it down, focusing on my laptop screen. They made their choice. Did they, or did Lily make it for them? Before I can answer, my phone lights up. Detective Morris again. We've located your sister's fiancé, she says, without preamble. He's agreed to cooperate, claims your parents had no idea about the larger scheme. They knew enough, perhaps, but here's what you need to know. Your sister's pregnant. The world stops. What? 3 months along. She mentioned it during her fiancé's interrogation. Said that's why they needed to leave quickly. I end the call, hands shaking. A baby. Another innocent drawn into Lily's web of manipulation. My laptop pings. An email from Dad's company regarding Daniel Martinez's retirement account. Liquidation request. I open it, scanning quickly. They're trying to cash out his pension. Early withdrawal. Massive penalties. Another text from Aunt Rachel. Gloria's not answering. Rachel's posting about moving abroad. What's happening? I close my eyes, seeing Emily playing in the next room. My daughter, who still asks about her grandparents every night, who doesn't understand why we can't visit anymore. Clara touches my shoulder. Maybe it's enough. The authorities are involved. Your parents will face consequences naturally. Like they faced consequences all those years. When they drained my college fund for Lily's treatments. When they missed Ryan's funeral. My voice cracks. When they kicked out their granddaughter. My phone buzzes again. Lily, you think you've won. Her voice is strange, tight. You have no idea what you've done. Mom's had 2 panic attacks. Dad's heart condition. But you don't care, do you? You just want your revenge. Says the woman stealing their retirement. I'm giving them what they want. A chance to save their daughter. Their real daughter. And the baby. Is that just another tool for manipulation? Silence. Then, how did your fiancé talked, Lily? It's over. Nothing's over. Her voice hardens. You think you're protecting them. Watch what happens when you take away their reason for living. Their chance to be grandparents again. The line goes dead. I stare at my screen. At the mounting evidence of years of deception. At the comments from family members, expressing shock, betrayal, anger. Clara reads over my shoulder. Your aunt, in Miami, says she's calling the police about the money they borrowed last year. Good. Joy. She pauses. What about the baby? I think of Emily, innocent and pure, of how my parents missed her first steps because Lily had a crisis that day. My fingers hover over the keyboard. One more post could destroy everything. The proof of Lily's biggest manipulation yet. The ultimate betrayal of our parents' trust. But a baby. An innocent child who didn't ask for any of this. My phone lights up with a final text from Dad. Please, whatever you're doing, stop. If not for us, for your new niece or nephew. Family should protect family. I laugh bitterly. Family should protect family. Where was that protection when Emily and I needed it? Clara watches me carefully. What are you going to do? I look at the draft post on my screen. At the evidence that would destroy not just Lily's schemes, but any chance of my parents ever breaking free from her. Then I look at Emily's photo on my desk, at her innocent smile, so much like Ryan's. I'm going to protect the only family member who deserves it, I say, and begin to type. Sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction, it's freedom. The police station's fluorescent lights make everything look sickly, unreal. Detective Morris spreads photos across the interview room table. Lily and her fiancé at different banks. My parents signing documents. Account statements showing millions flowing through shell companies. Your sister's fiancé gave us everything, Morris says. But here's the problem. Your parents' signatures are on nearly every document. I stare at the evidence of my family's destruction. They didn't know. They knew enough. She slides another document forward. Your father's fingerprints are on the incorporation papers. Your mother's signature is on wire transfers. We have to treat them as willing participants. My phone vibrates. Aunt Rachel. Gloria's in the hospital. Panic attack. Daniel's not answering calls. The room spins. I grip the table's edge. There's more. Morris continues. Your sister's medical fraud extends to insurance companies across state lines. Federal charges are likely. Another text. Clara. Emily's asking about the news reports. Your parents' pictures are everywhere. I close my eyes, remembering Emily's face this morning when she saw the newspaper. Why is Grandpa crying in that photo, Mommy? The detective's voice cuts through my thoughts. We need your testimony. Against all of them. All of them? Your parents included. They're facing serious charges unless they cooperate fully. My phone lights up again. Dad, they're taking everything. His message reads, the house, the savings, your mother's inheritance. Please, help us. The same words I'd begged them with when Ryan died. When Emily and I needed somewhere to live. Ms. Martinez? Detective Morris presses. We need your decision. Another text arrives. Lily, congratulations. Mom's in cardiac care. The baby's showing signs of distress. Hope you're happy with what you've done. My hands shake as I scroll through the messages. Aunt Rachel sending hospital photos. Clara reporting that Emily's school called. She had a breakdown during class, crying for her grandparents. If they cooperate, I manage. What happens to their charges? Best case, heavy fines, probation. Worst case, prison time. Prison. My 60-year-old father in a cell. My mother, who's never even had a parking ticket. And Lily? She's looking at significant time. Unless your parents take full responsibility. Which, given their pattern of behavior. Of course, even now they'd sacrifice everything for her. For the daughter who's destroying them. My phone buzzes one final time. A photo from the hospital. Mom unconscious in a bed, Dad holding her hand. His message beneath it breaks something inside me. We failed you. We know that now. But please don't let this be how our story ends. Ms. Martinez, Detective Morris's voice seems distant. We need your statement, today. I stare at the photo of my parents, thinking of Emily, of how she'll grow up knowing I sent her grandparents to prison, of the cousin she'll never meet. Lily's baby born behind bars. Can I have a moment? Outside the interview room, I call Clara. How's Emily? Sleeping finally. Joy. She asked if she did something wrong, if that's why her grandparents disappeared like Daddy did. The comparison hits like a physical blow. Ryan's death, Emily's loss, and now this, another trauma I've brought into my daughter's life. What do? I whisper. What you've always done, Clara answers. Protect the ones who need protection. I think of my parents, signing whatever Lily put in front of them. Of Mom in that hospital bed. Of Dad working 3 jobs, thinking he was saving his daughter's life. And Lily, manipulating them all while carrying an innocent child. I return to the interview room. Detective Morris looks up expectantly. I need to revise my statement, I say. You're backing out? No. I take a deep breath. I'm changing the narrative. My parents were victims too. Here's what really happened. Sometimes revenge isn't about destroying your enemies. Sometimes it's about saving them from themselves, even if it means sacrificing your own chance at justice. I begin to speak, weaving a new version of events, one that might save my parents, give my daughter back her grandparents, and ensure Lily's baby has a chance at a normal life. The truth burns in my throat, unspoken. But Emily's words echo in my head. Why did they disappear like Daddy did? Some cycles of trauma have to end, even if I'm the one who has to break them. The hospital corridor stretches endlessly as I approach Lily's room. Through the window, I see her lying in bed, one hand on her swollen belly, our mother hovering nearby. Dad sits in the corner, looking smaller than I've ever seen him. Detective Morris's words echo in my head. Your revised statement bought them time, but we need more. I push open the door. The machine's steady beeping fills the silence. Get out, Mom starts, but Dad raises his hand. Let her speak. Lily's eyes narrow. Come to finish what you started. I place a folder on her bedside table. Actually, I came to save you, all of you. I pull out 3 documents. These are immunity agreements, full cooperation in exchange for reduced charges. We don't need, Lily begins. Your fiancé took a deal this morning. I watch her face pale. He's given them everything, Lily. The fake medical records, the shell companies, the offshore accounts. Mom sinks into a chair. What offshore accounts? The ones holding most of your retirement money. I turn to Lily. Tell them, or I will. She's lying, Lily whispers, but her hand trembles on her belly. Your pregnancy complications, I continue. The doctor you claimed needed specialized payments. He doesn't exist. The hospital has no record of your appointments for the past 2 years. Dad stands suddenly. That's not possible. You spoke to her friends, playing roles. Check your phone records. Every doctor call came from burner phones. Lily, Mom's voice cracks. Tell us she's wrong. Lily's face contorts. You don't understand. I needed, what? I cut in. Designer clothes? Luxury vacations. While Dad worked himself into heart problems to pay for your imaginary treatments. I deserved it. Lily explodes. Do you know what it's like being the sick one, the weak one, always needing help, always being pitied? You weren't sick. The words echo off the hospital walls. You haven't been sick for years. Silence falls. The machines beep steadily. What? Dad whispers. I pull out the final document. Your medical records, the real ones. Your childhood condition resolved after the last surgery, 7 years ago. Mom shakes her head. But the medications, the treatments, vitamins, placebos, ask her what she really spent the money on. Lily's face twists with rage. You self-righteous bitch. At least I gave them purpose. What did you give them? A dead husband? A burden of a grandchild? The words hang in the air like poison. That's enough. Dad's voice is different, harder. Joy. What are these immunity agreements? Sign them. Testify that you were manipulated, deceived. The DA will consider your age, your clean records. I meet Lily's eyes. All of you. Why would you help us? Lily demands. After everything. Not you, them. I gesture to our parents. And your baby. They deserve a chance at something better than your lies. Mom starts to speak, but a doctor appears in the doorway. Excuse me, Ms. Martinez. There's someone here to see you. Emily peeks around the doctor's leg, Clara behind her. My daughter's eyes find mine, then drift to Lily's pregnant belly. Is that my cousin in there? She asks innocently. The room freezes. Lily's hand tightens on her stomach. Mom stifles a sob. Yes, I say softly. And we're all going to make sure they grow up in a better family than we did. I place a pen on the bedside table. Sign the agreements. Take the deal. Or I walk out that door and let the FBI handle it. Dad moves first, reaching for the pen. Mom follows. They both look at Lily. Please, Mom whispers. For your baby. Lily stares at her stomach, then at Emily. Something shifts in her expression. The first real emotion I've seen from her in years. I never meant, she starts, then stops, picks up the pen. As they sign, Emily slips her hand into mine. Can we go home now, Mommy? I squeeze her hand, watching my family sign away their secrets, their lies, their decades of manipulation. Yes, baby, we can all go home. Sometimes revenge isn't about destroying your enemies. Sometimes it's about forcing them to face the truth. And sometimes, in facing that truth, you find a way to build something new from the ashes of what was lost. The nursery walls are a soft yellow, catching the morning light. I watch Lily rock her daughter, her hospital bracelet still on her wrist, 3 days old. And already Sophie has brought more honesty to this family than decades of confrontation. She has Ryan's eyes, Lily whispers, not looking up. I never noticed before, but Emily does too. The immunity deals saved our parents from prison, but the restitution payments will keep them working well past retirement. Dad's taken a consulting job. Mom's selling her antiques collection. They're learning to live with less and with truth. Joy. Lily's voice breaks. That night, when Ryan, don't. I need to say it. She meets my eyes. I called him because I was drunk, scared of driving home. But then my friends offered a ride, and I forgot to call back. I never thought. The confession hangs between us like smoke. All these years, I'd imagined something more dramatic, more malicious. The truth is worse, a careless moment that destroyed lives. Emily appears in the doorway, clutching her backpack. Ready for school, Mommy. Say goodbye to your cousin, I tell her. She approaches the rocking chair carefully. Lily tenses, then relaxes, as Emily gently touches Sophie's hand. I'll teach her everything. Emily promises solemnly, like how to color inside the lines and which swings go highest. Lily's eyes fill with tears. I'd like that. The doorbell rings. Our parents, right on schedule. They've been staying in a small apartment nearby, learning to navigate this new reality where their daughters are both strong and broken in different ways. Mom enters first, her designer clothes replaced by department store basics. We brought breakfast and paperwork. Dad adds, holding up a folder. The financial advisor has a plan for paying everyone back. Lily stiffens. I told you, I'll get a job as soon as… No, Dad cuts in. This is our responsibility. We enabled everything. It's time we face that. I watch them gather around Lily and Sophie, their voices soft, their movements hesitant, as if they're all learning a new language of family. Clara texts, court date confirmed. Lily's fiancé took the full plea deal. I delete it without responding. Some details don't need sharing. Some wounds need silence to heal. Joy. Mom touches my arm. We were thinking, there's that empty retail space next to Dad's new office. Perfect for a small business. If you still want to open that bookstore, the offer hangs there. Not a manipulation, not a debt, but a bridge. I'll think about it, I say. Emily tugs my sleeve. Can we show Sophie my room before school? Careful, Lily calls as Emily leads me away. She's still learning to trust. We all are. In Emily's room, surrounded by stuffed animals and crayon drawings, my daughter turns to me. Is Aunt Lily still sick? Not in her body, I answer carefully. But sometimes people get sick in their hearts. They forget how to be honest. Like when I said I didn't eat the cookies. Something like that. I smooth her hair. But she's getting better. We all are. Through the wall, we hear Sophie crying. Then Lily's gentle shushing. Mom's voice joins in, then Dad's quiet laugh. They sound happy, Emily observes. They're learning to be real, I tell her. It's harder than being happy sometimes. She considers this wise beyond her years. Is that why you're not angry anymore? The question stops me. I think of the evidence still in my desk drawer, the power I still hold over Lily's future, the choice I make every day not to use it. I'm choosing something better than anger, I say finally. Emily nods, satisfied. Like how you chose to let Grandma and Grandpa come back. Exactly. Sophie's cries quiet. In their place, I hear Lily singing. The same lullaby Mom used to sing to us both, before illness and lies divided us. Time for school, I say. But Emily's already heading back to the nursery, drawn by the song, by the imperfect harmony of our healing family. I follow her, watching from the doorway, as 3 generations of Martinez women gather around a new beginning. Not a happy ending. Those don't exist in real families. But maybe something stronger, something true.
I stare at the champagne flute in my hand, watching tiny bubbles rise to the surface like my mounting disgust. The annual Morrison Family Foundation Gala always brings out the worst in everyone, but tonight takes the prize for pure, unadulterated bullshit. My sister Lily stands at the podium, delivering her perfectly rehearsed speech about community service and family values. The pearls Mother gave her catch the light as she gestures, and I can't help but notice they're the ones I was supposed to inherit. "Ruby, darling, do try to look more engaged," Mother whispers, her manicured nails digging into my arm. The Peterson family is watching. I resist the urge to dump my champagne down her designer dress. Instead, I plaster on the smile I've perfected over 28 years of being the family disappointment. Of course, Mother. The ballroom of the Grand Meridian Hotel sparkles with old money and new pretensions. My husband Ethan works the crowd like the social climber he is, laughing too loud at jokes that aren't funny. He catches my eye across the room and gives me that smile, the one that used to make my heart skip but now just makes my skin crawl. Something's off about him tonight. He keeps checking his phone, disappearing for stretches of time. I've seen this behavior before, just not from him. And none of this would be possible without our wonderful family, Lily concludes, her voice dripping honey. The crowd applauds, and I notice Ethan isn't at his table anymore. I excuse myself from Mother's clutches and head toward the service corridor. The click of my heels echoes against marble as I follow my instincts down the hallway. A woman's laugh. Lily's laugh drifts from around the corner. We can't keep doing this. Ethan's voice, low and urgent. Ruby's starting to suspect something. Please. My sister wouldn't notice if you tattooed "I'm sleeping with Lily" on your forehead. She's too busy trying to prove she doesn't need our parents' approval. I freeze, my hand pressed against the cold wall for support. The champagne in my stomach turns to acid. That's not fair, Ethan says, but there's no real defense in his voice. Ruby loves you. Lily's laugh again, sharper this time. Ruby loves the idea of having a perfect sister, just like she loves the idea of having a perfect marriage. We both know neither is true. I step around the corner. They spring apart like guilty teenagers, but not fast enough to hide what I've seen. Lily's lipstick is smeared. Ethan's tie is loose. The pearls around my sister's neck mock me with their perfect shine. Ruby, Ethan starts, but I hold up my hand. How long? Lily smooths her dress, already composing her face into the innocent expression that's fooled our parents for years. It's not what you think. 8 months, Ethan cuts in. Since the Christmas party. The Christmas party. When Mother announced she was giving Lily the family pearls because she'd make better use of them. When Ethan held me as I cried later that night, telling me it didn't matter, that we'd make our own traditions. I look at my sister. Really look at her. Behind the perfect makeup and calculated charm, I see something new. Fear. She knows she's miscalculated. You know what's funny? I say, my voice steady despite the earthquake in my chest. I always thought you were the smart one, Lily. The favorite, the perfect daughter. But this? I gesture between them. This is sloppy. Ruby, please. Ethan reaches for me, but I step back. Don't worry. I won't make a scene. Not tonight. Mother would never forgive me for ruining her precious gala. I turn to leave, then pause. Oh, and Lily? Those pearls? They look fake. I walk away, their protests fading behind me. The ballroom buzzes with oblivious chatter as I return to my seat. Mother beams at me, probably thinking I've finally learned to behave. If she only knew. The daughter they've always underestimated is about to show them exactly what she's capable of. And it starts tonight. I raise my champagne glass and smile. Let them think it's a toast to family values. 3 days after the gala, I sit across from Daniel at Cafe Luna, watching him process what I've just told him. His coffee grows cold, untouched, while I've already shredded my napkin into confetti. So your sister and Ethan, he says finally, running a hand through his dark hair. Since Christmas. 8 months of lies. I drop another piece of napkin. 8 months of family dinners, charity events, weekend brunches, all while they were... My voice cracks, and I hate myself for it. Daniel reaches across the table, his hand covering mine. Have you told your parents? A bitter laugh escapes me. Mother's response was to suggest I try harder to keep my husband interested. Father hasn't even returned my calls. Jesus, Ruby. The cafe door chimes, and I tense as Lily walks in. Of course she'd come here. It's her favorite spot to be seen by the right people. She freezes when she spots us, then squares her shoulders and approaches our table. Ruby, she says, her voice honey-sweet. We need to talk about this like adults. Daniel's hand tightens on mine. I don't think now's the time. I wasn't talking to you. Lily's mask slips for just a second, showing the steel underneath. This is family business. That's rich, I say, standing up. Since when did family mean anything to you beyond what you could take from it? You're being dramatic. She glances around, noticing the other patrons starting to stare. Mother and father are worried about you. They think you're not thinking clearly. Let me guess. They're worried about the foundation's reputation? About what people will say when they find out their perfect daughter has been sleeping with her sister's husband? Lily grabs my arm, her nails digging in. Keep your voice down. You're embarrassing yourself. I wrench away from her. No, I'm done being the quiet one. The understanding one. The one who steps aside so precious Lily can have everything she wants. You don't understand anything, she hisses. You never have. Everything's always been handed to you. The inheritance, the position at the foundation, Ethan... Handed to me? The laugh that comes out of me doesn't sound like my voice at all. Mother made me turn down Stanford because it wasn't appropriate. Father cut me off when I wanted to start my own business. And Ethan? He was your consolation prize to me, wasn't he? Something to keep me occupied while you played the perfect daughter? Daniel stands now, placing himself slightly between us. I think you should leave, Lily. She ignores him, her eyes locked on mine. Mother and father are willing to forgive this little outburst. They're prepared to be generous, set you up with a new apartment, maybe that marketing firm you've always wanted. The pieces click into place. They knew, I whisper. They knew about you and Ethan, didn't they? Lily's silence is answer enough. Get out. My voice is ice now. Get out before I tell everyone in this cafe exactly what kind of person you are. She leaves, but not before saying, Don't do anything you'll regret, Ruby. Some bridges can't be rebuilt. I sink back into my chair, shaking. Daniel sits beside me now, his arm around my shoulders. I could kill them all, I mutter. Or, he says carefully, if you could do something worse. I look at him. There's something in his expression I've never seen before. A calculated understanding that makes my breath catch. The Foundation's annual audit is coming up, he continues, and I happen to know some interesting things about their bookkeeping practices. How would you know that? He smiles, and it's not entirely kind. Because before I met you, I worked for the firm that handles their accounts. I left because I saw things that didn't sit right. I stare at him, seeing him in a new light. Why didn't you ever tell me? Waiting for the right moment, I suppose. He pulls out his phone, showing me a folder of documents. Your family's perfect facade? It's built on sand. One push in the right direction. I think about Mother's dismissal, Father's silence, Lily's smug certainty that they can buy my compliance, 8 months of betrayal, and years before that of subtle cruelty disguised as love. Show me everything, I say. Daniel's smile widens. I thought you'd never ask. The Morrison Foundation's financial records spread across Daniel's dining room table like a roadmap to my family's hypocrisy. Each spreadsheet tells its own story of creative accounting and carefully hidden transactions. My hands shake as I trace the numbers, seeing years of manipulation laid bare in columns and rows. Your father's been moving money through shell companies for years, Daniel says, highlighting another suspicious transfer. The charitable donations aren't going where they're supposed to. My phone buzzes. Another message from Ethan. I silence it without looking. Show me the worst of it. This one. Daniel pulls out a document dated 3 months ago. $1 million transferred to an offshore account right after your sister's promotion to executive director. The irony makes me laugh. The position I was too inexperienced for. A knock at the door makes us both freeze. Daniel moves to answer it while I quickly gather the papers. Through the peephole, he sees my father standing in the hallway. Ruby. Father's voice carries through the door. We need to talk. Daniel looks at me, waiting for my decision. I nod, straightening my spine. Father walks in like he owns the place, his expensive suit a stark contrast to Daniel's modest apartment. His eyes catch on the hastily gathered papers, and something flickers across his face. I see you've been busy, he says. Learning about the family business, I reply. The real one, not the charitable facade. He sits without being invited. Your mother's worried sick. Lily says you've been making threats. Threats? I lean forward. I haven't threatened anyone. I'm just finally paying attention to what's been happening right in front of me. Whatever you think you know. I know about the shell companies, I cut in. The fake donations, the money laundering. Did you really think nobody would notice? His face hardens. You're out of your depth. No, I'm finally swimming in the right pool. I push the offshore account document toward him. Tell me, Father, was this Lily's signing bonus for keeping quiet about Ethan? Or was it payment for playing her part in your little scheme? You've always been dramatic, he says, but his hands clench. Like your mother. Seeing conspiracies where there's only family looking out for its own. Daniel moves to stand behind my chair. Is that what you call embezzling from your own charity? Looking out for family? Father's eyes snap to him. And you, the disgraced accountant who couldn't keep his mouth shut about client confidentiality. Is this revenge for being fired? Using my daughter to settle old scores? Daniel didn't tell me anything I couldn't have found myself, I say, though this is news to me. The real question is, what happens when the board sees these records? You wouldn't dare. Father stands, looming over me. You'd destroy everything this family has built. You mean everything you've stolen? I stand too, matching his posture. What would your society friends say if they knew their charitable donations were funding Lily's apartment and mother's shopping sprees? Think carefully about your next move, he warns. There are things you don't know, Ruby. Things that could hurt more than just the family reputation. Before I can respond, my phone buzzes again, this time with a news alert. My blood runs cold as I read the headline. Morrison Foundation executive accused of misappropriating funds. Father's smile is razor sharp. Did you think you were the only one who could play this game? I scan the article. My name appears prominently, alongside accusations of theft and fraud. They've set me up as the fall person. How long have you been planning this? I whisper. Since you started asking questions about the Christmas party transfer. He straightens his tie. We gave you every chance to fall in line, Ruby. Remember that. He leaves us standing there, the article glowing accusingly on my phone screen. Daniel immediately starts gathering documents. We need to move fast, he says. They've played their hand, but we still have the real evidence. I look at the papers, at the years of carefully documented fraud, at the proof of my family's true nature. They think they've won, I say, my voice steady despite the rage building in my chest. They think I'll run and hide like I always have. Daniel pauses. What are you thinking? I pick up the offshore account document, the one with both my father's and Lily's signatures. I'm thinking it's time to show them exactly who they created when they decided to make me the family scapegoat. The game has changed, but they've forgotten one crucial detail. I'm a Morrison too, and I learned from the best how to destroy someone completely. The police station's fluorescent lights make everything look sickly, including Detective Martinez's forced smile as she slides another document across the table. My lawyer, hastily arranged by Daniel, shifts uncomfortably beside me. Let's go through this again, Miss Morrison, Martinez says. The Foundation's records show you authorized these transfers. I stare at my signature on the papers. Perfect forgeries, down to the slight curl in the Y. Those aren't mine. They look authentic to our experts. Everything about my family looks authentic until you scratch the surface. The detective's phone buzzes. She checks it, and something changes in her expression. Your sister's here. She's offering to make a statement. Of course she is. I imagine Lily in the next room, perfectly composed, rehearsing her lines like she's done since we were children. The thought makes me want to scream, but I keep my voice steady. I'd like to see these experts of yours. Ruby, my lawyer warns. No, I mean it. I lean forward. Because someone who can forge signatures that well must be expensive. The kind of expensive that leaves a trail. The kind my father would know how to hide. Martinez studies me. You're claiming your father orchestrated this? I'm claiming my father orchestrates everything. I pull out my phone, pulling up the photos Daniel helped me gather, including these transfers to offshore accounts that coincidentally started right after he made Lily executive director. The detective's eyes narrow as she swipes through the images. Where did you get these? The same place I got proof that the Foundation's charitable works are about as real as my sister's conscience. A knock at the door interrupts us. Another detective enters, whispering something to Martinez. Her expression shifts again. Excuse me, she says, gathering her papers. Don't leave the room. Through the door's window, I watch Martinez approach a group in the hallway. My mother stands there, elegant even in crisis, while father speaks intensely with a man in an expensive suit. Lily hovers nearby, phone in hand, probably updating Ethan on their latest move against me. Your parents' lawyer is well connected, my lawyer murmurs. We should consider a deal. No, I turn away from the window. They want me to take the fall. Admit to embezzlement, spare the family name, probably get a suspended sentence thanks to father's influence. Then they'll ship me off somewhere quiet with a monthly stipend to keep my mouth shut. It might be the smartest play. It might be the expected play. I pull out one final document, the one Daniel and I held back. But they forgot something important about being the family disappointment. No one ever expects you to learn from what they teach you. Martinez returns, but she's not alone. A woman in a sharp FBI jacket follows her in. "Miss Morrison," the agent says, "I'm Special Agent Cooper. We'd like to discuss your family's international banking activities." I smile, thinking of Daniel's late nights tracking the money through shell companies and tax havens. "I was wondering when you'd show up." "Ruby," my lawyer starts, but I cut him off. "It's okay. I've been preparing for this conversation." I look directly at Cooper. "How would you like to know where every penny of the Morrison Foundation's charitable donations really went for the past decade?" Cooper sits down, pulling out a recorder. "Why don't you start at the beginning?" Through the window, I see my father notice the FBI jacket. His face goes pale. Mother's hand flies to her pearls. The real ones, not the fakes she gave me. Lily stops typing mid-message, her perfect mask cracking. "The beginning?" I lean back, finally feeling in control. "Well, it started with a Christmas party, a pair of pearls, and a family that thought they could keep me quiet by taking everything I loved." Cooper nods, pressing record. "Take your time." I do. Because revenge, like the best family recipes, requires perfect timing and precise measurements. And I've been measuring this dish for years. "You should know," I add, "that this isn't just about money. It's about a pattern of manipulation that goes back years. And I have witnesses who can corroborate everything." "Witnesses?" Martinez asks, starting with Daniel Matthews, the accountant my father fired for asking too many questions, and ending with Sophie Chen, my husband's new girlfriend, who has some very interesting text messages from my sister about their plan to discredit me. The pieces are falling into place, and through the window, I watch my family realize it too. They taught me well. Too well. And now they'll learn what happens when the scapegoat decides to stop running. Sophie's text arrives at 3 in the morning. "Meet me at Riverside Park, 7 a.m. Come alone." I show it to Daniel, who's been up all night helping me sort through the FBI's questions. "It's a trap, obviously." He rubs his tired eyes. "Your father's probably behind it." Or Lily. I stare at the message, remembering how Sophie used to be my friend before she became Ethan's convenient consolation prize. Either way, I'm going. "Ruby, I need to know what game they're playing." The park is empty when I arrive, except for Sophie sitting on our old favorite bench. She looks smaller somehow, less polished than usual. Her designer bag, a gift from my mother, I notice, sits between us like a barrier when I sit down. "They're planning to pin everything on Daniel," she says without preamble. "Your father has documents showing he orchestrated the whole scheme for revenge after being fired." My hands clench. "Those would be forgeries like the ones they used on me." "Does it matter? Your father's lawyers are better than yours." She pulls out a folder. "These are copies of what they're going to present to the FBI." I don't take them. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I remember who you were before all this. Before your family twisted everything." She laughs bitterly. "Before I let them twist me too." A jogger passes, and we both fall silent until he's gone. In the distance, I see a familiar car, Ethan's, parked just out of obvious sight. "They're watching, aren't they?" Sophie nods slightly. "They think I'm here to convince you to take the deal. Plead guilty, spare the family name. They'll make sure you serve minimal time. And Daniel takes the fall for the financial fraud. It's a good offer, Ruby. Better than what's coming if you don't take it." I stand, finally understanding. "You're not here to warn me. You're here to threaten me. I'm here because I owe you the truth." She reaches for my arm, but I step back. "They have everything planned. The evidence against Daniel, the character witnesses, even a paper trail showing he manipulated you into turning against your family. And what do you get out of this? Ethan? My mother's approval? The life that was supposed to be mine?" Her silence is answer enough. "You know what's funny?" I pull out my phone, stopping the recording. "You just confirmed everything we suspected about the forgeries. The FBI will be very interested in this conversation." The color drains from her face. "You can't." "I already did. And Ethan can tell my father that his little scheme just gave us exactly what we needed." "Ruby, wait." She grabs my arm, desperate now. "You don't understand. They'll destroy you. They have things on you that even you don't know about." I lean close, speaking quietly. Let them try. Because what they don't understand is that I stopped being afraid of losing everything the moment they took it all away. My phone buzzes. Daniel, right on schedule. The FBI just picked up Lily. He texts. Your father's lawyer is calling everyone in for damage control. I show Sophie the message, watching her perfect facade crumble. You should go. I'm sure they'll want everyone on script before the media gets wind of this. They're your family, she whispers. How can you do this to them? They stopped being my family the moment they decided I was expendable. I start walking away, then turn back. Oh, and Sophie? Those documents you brought? They're inadmissible now. Fruit of the poisonous tree, my lawyer calls it. Say hello to my father's legal team for me. I walk away, my hands shaking but my stride steady. Daniel's waiting in our car around the corner, and through his window I can see Ethan's car peeling out of its hiding spot. You okay? Daniel asks as I slide in. I watch Sophie hurry toward Ethan's retreating car, clutching her designer bag like a shield. No, I answer honestly, but I will be. The FBI wants to meet again. They're particularly interested in those offshore accounts you mentioned. I nod, thinking of the dominoes we've carefully arranged. Then let's go knock down the first one. Because that's the thing about family legacies. They can be dismantled just as carefully as they were built. And I learned from the best how to tear something apart from the inside out. The Morrison family's disgrace unfolds in high definition across every news channel. I watch from Daniel's apartment as reporters dissect each new revelation. The fraudulent donations, the offshore accounts, the years of manipulation. My phone hasn't stopped buzzing with messages from former friends choosing sides. They're calling it the Morrison Foundation scandal, Daniel says, muting the TV. Your father's board members are jumping ship. I should feel triumphant. Instead, I feel hollow, watching my mother's carefully curated world crumble in real time. The latest footage shows her leaving their lawyer's office, pearl necklace conspicuously absent. My phone rings, an unknown number. Ruby Morrison. You've made your point. Lily's voice sounds raw, unfamiliar. They're freezing the foundation's assets. Father's having chest pains. Are you happy now? You don't get to play victim, Lily. Not after everything. They're investigating Daniel, too. Her words hit like ice water. Did you know about his connection to Sophie? Before he was fired? The room tilts slightly. What are you talking about? Ask him about the Christmas party, about why he really approached you afterward. I look at Daniel, who's suddenly very interested in his laptop screen. You're lying. For once, I'm not. Lily's laugh sounds broken. Guess we're both suckers for a good manipulation. The call ends. Daniel won't meet my eyes. What did she mean? My voice sounds distant to my own ears. About you and Sophie? Ruby, don't. I stand up, needing space. Just tell me the truth. For once, someone in my life tell me the truth. He closes his laptop slowly. Sophie and I dated briefly while I worked for your father's firm. She's the one who told me about the accounting irregularities. And the Christmas party? When you first talked to me? I knew who you were. Sophie had mentioned... He stops, seeing something in my expression. I approached you because I thought you might help expose what your father was doing. The room spins faster. So I was your way in? Your chance at revenge against my father? At first. He stands, reaching for me. But then I got to know you, and everything changed. Don't touch me. I step back, memories realigning with sickening clarity. All those conversations about standing up to my family, about fighting back, you were pushing me toward this from the start. I was trying to help you see the truth. The truth? I laugh, and it sounds like Lily's broken one. The truth is, I traded one manipulation for another. I just picked the better liar. My phone buzzes again. A news alert. The FBI is expanding their investigation to include Daniel's role in the foundation's finances. Another shows Ethan and Sophie leaving the federal building together, likely cutting deals to save themselves. They're going to say I helped you set this up, Daniel says quietly. Your father's lawyers will paint you as either a willing conspirator or an innocent dupe. Either way, I lose. The reality crashes down. God, I'm such an idiot. Ruby, please, let me explain. Explain what? How you used me to get back at my father? How you're no better than Ethan, than any of them? My voice cracks. I trusted you. His phone rings, his lawyer, probably with news about the investigation. We both stare at it, understanding what it means. They'll want him to turn on me, just like Sophie and Ethan, just like everyone eventually does. Don't answer it, I whisper, hating how much I still want to believe in him. We can figure this out together. He looks at me for a long moment, and I see the decision in his eyes before he reaches for the phone. I grab my keys and bag, heading for the door. Behind me, I hear him speaking to his lawyer, his voice taking on that familiar, reasonable tone he used to use with me. Used to convince me I could trust him. Outside, reporters spot me immediately. Their questions blur together as I push through them toward my car. Someone shouts about Daniel's connection to Sophie, another about my father's hospitalization. My phone buzzes one last time. A message from my mother. Come home. We can still fix this as a family. I delete it without responding, but her words echo as I drive away from Daniel's apartment, away from another betrayal. Because that's the cruel joke of it all. There's nowhere left to go. No one left to trust. I've torn down everything, only to find myself buried in the rubble. The hospital corridor stretches before me like a gauntlet. My father's heart attack, real or conveniently timed, has drawn everyone here. Through the waiting room window, I see my mother holding court with concerned friends. Lily at her side. They've even managed to look appropriately distressed for the cameras outside. I stride past them, ignoring their startled expressions. Daniel's revelation has given me one last card to play, and I'm done waiting for the right moment. Ruby! Mother's voice carries that familiar warning tone. This isn't the time. It's exactly the time. I turn to face them, aware of the small audience we've attracted. Where's the file? Lily stands, all pretense of sisterly concern dropping from her face. What file? The one proving father orchestrated everything, from Ethan's affair to Daniel's involvement. The one Sophie mentioned before she took her immunity deal. Mother's hand flies to her throat, finding no pearls to clutch. Your father's had a heart attack. Whatever grievances you have are exactly why he's in that room. I step closer, lowering my voice. He knew I'd found proof of the real fraud, didn't he? The children's hospitals that never saw a dime of foundation money? The families who thought they were getting medical care? A nurse hurries past, and we all pause, playing our roles. The moment she's gone, Lily drops her voice to a hiss. You have no idea what you're talking about. Don't I? I pull out my phone, showing them the email I received an hour ago. The FBI is very interested in where that money actually went, especially since some of it traces back to accounts in your name, Lily. Her face drains of color. I didn't know. Of course you didn't. I turn to Mother. Because that was the point, wasn't it? Keep Lily in the dark enough to be useful, but not informed enough to be dangerous. Just like you did with Ethan, with Sophie, with me. Everything we did was to protect this family. Mother steps between us, her mask finally cracking. Your father built something magnificent. He built a lie. My voice rises despite myself. And when I wouldn't play along, you decided to destroy me instead. The affair, Daniel's convenient appearance in my life, it was all orchestrated to discredit me if I ever discovered the truth. A commotion down the hall draws our attention. Father's doctor approaches, looking grave. Behind him, I glimpse Father sitting up in bed, very much alive and speaking intensely with his lawyer. Mrs. Morrison, the doctor begins, but I cut him off. Save the performance. He's not dying, is he? This whole scene is just another manipulation. Mother's expression hardens. Security will escort you out. Let them. I've already sent copies of everything to every major news outlet. The real fraud, the missing money, the families you exploited, it all goes public in... I check my phone. 12 minutes. Lily grabs my arm. You can't. They'll arrest all of us. No, they'll arrest him. I nod toward Father's room. And anyone who knowingly helped him. The question is, Lily, how much did you really know? I see the exact moment she understands her position. The same position I was in all those years. The sacrificial daughter, meant to take the fall while the family survives. Mother? Lily turns, desperate, but Mother's already walking toward Father's room, probably to warn him. You know what's funny? I gently remove her hand from my arm. I actually have nothing to do with the news stories. The FBI's been building their case for months. I just needed you all here, together, when it broke. One last family gathering. Lily's phone buzzes. The first headline hits. Then Mother's. Then every phone in the waiting room. Through the window, I see Father's lawyer stand abruptly, staring at his phone in horror. You could have warned me, Lily whispers. Like you warned me about Ethan? About Daniel? I step back as FBI agents appear at both ends of the corridor. Goodbye, Lily. Try to pick better allies in prison than you did in life. I walk away as the agents move in, their warrants ready. Behind me, I hear Mother's carefully controlled voice finally crack. Father's lawyer demanding everyone remain silent. Lily's heels clicking frantically on the hospital floor as she tries to escape. But I don't look back. I've spent enough time watching my family destroy things. Now I get to watch them face the consequences. And for the first time since this all began, the hollow feeling in my chest starts to fill with something that feels surprisingly like peace. I sit alone in the courtroom as my father receives his sentence. 20 years for fraud, embezzlement, and exploitation. Mother got 12, her carefully maintained composure finally cracking as they led her away. Lily took a plea deal. 3 years, in exchange for her testimony. The media circus has mostly moved on to fresher scandals, though our family's fall still makes occasional headlines. The latest shows Ethan and Sophie's engagement announcement. Their smiles as practiced as ever. They're rebuilding their lives on the West Coast, far from the wreckage here. The courtroom's closing soon, Miss Morrison. The janitor's voice echoes in the empty chamber. Just a minute more, I say, running my fingers over the smooth wooden barrier. This room has held so many endings lately. So many carefully constructed lies torn apart under oath. My phone buzzes. A text from Daniel. He's been trying to explain, to apologize, to find some way back. I delete it without reading, just like all the others. Some betrayals can't be undone, even if they led to necessary ends. Outside, autumn leaves scatter across the courthouse steps. A familiar figure waits by the bottom. Lily, out on bail until her sentencing next week. She's traded her designer clothes for something simpler, more honest somehow. I thought I'd find you here, she says as I approach. One last look at the battlefield? Something like that. I stop a few steps above her, maintaining the height advantage we both understand is symbolic. Shouldn't you be preparing for your new life? I've been thinking about Christmas. She wraps her arms around herself, looking smaller than I've ever seen her. That party, when Mother gave me the pearls. You weren't the only one being manipulated that night. Lily, no, let me finish. She turns, facing me fully. I thought I was their favorite, their perfect daughter, but I was just another puppet. They knew about my gambling debts, used them to control me. The affair with Ethan, the foundation position, it was all orchestrated to keep us both in line. I study her face, searching for the familiar signs of manipulation. Instead, I find something new. Clarity. Why are you telling me this now? Because you were right about everything except one thing. She reaches into her bag, pulling out a familiar strand of pearls. These were meant for you. I stole them from Mother's room the night before Christmas. It was the first time I actively chose to hurt you, instead of just following their script. She holds them out, but I don't take them. Keep them. They're part of your restitution now. That's not why. She stops, dropping her hand. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that at least one person in this family finally sees you clearly. A court officer appears at the top of the steps. Miss Morrison, there's some final paperwork for the estate settlement. I nod, then turn back to Lily. I hope you find whatever you're looking for in prison. I really do. What about you? What are you looking for now? The question catches me off guard. For so long, my purpose has been revenge, justice, survival. Now, standing here in the aftermath, I realize I don't know. I'm looking for the person I might have been, I say finally, if I hadn't spent so long trying to be who everyone else wanted. Lily nods, understanding passing between us for perhaps the first time. She's probably amazing. she says softly, then turns and walks away, the pearls clutched in her fist. I watch her go, feeling something shift inside me. Not forgiveness, I'm not sure I'll ever manage that, but maybe understanding, maybe even peace. The officer clears his throat politely. I climb the steps, ready to sign the papers that will officially dissolve the Morrison Foundation and distribute its remaining assets to the families we hurt. Ready to close this chapter of my life. But as I reach for the pen, I realize something. Revenge wasn't the end of my story. It was just the beginning of a different one. One where I get to write every page myself, without anyone else's expectations or manipulations. I sign my name, just Ruby, no Morrison. I'm Titay, and step into whatever comes next.